of Bayonne welcomes you to Veterans Memorial Stadium for the 24th Annual Thanksgiving Day Football Classic between the Royal Knights of Marist High School and the Bees of Bayonne High School. Hello, everyone. This is Jack O'Leary, along with Mike Vodal and Wayne Witkowski, bringing you today's telecast. Gentlemen, the big news around Bayonne for the past week has been this game. For the first time in many years, Marist is entering this game as the favorite. The Royal Knights, coached by Jackie Moore, had a regular season record of 7-1, which included 4 shutouts in a row. Their only loss was a tough 8-7 defeat to St. Joe's of West New York in a game they really should have won. On the other hand, Coach Don Ahern's Bees had a 4-4 record for this year. Their last 2 games resulted in a 16-0 loss to Westfield and a staggering 35-0 loss to a strong North Bergen squad. However, bear in mind that this is a strong rivalry when season's records don't mean a lot. Out of the past 23 games, the Bees have won 21. Marist, on the other hand, definitely feels that this is their year.
Here they come right now.
Gentlemen, I'd like to ask you this. How important is this game to Marist? They have lost 21 of the last 23 encounters. They are the favorite. They have that 7-2 record. Bayonne is not that strong as usual, 4-4. This could be a very interesting contest here on Thanksgiving morning.
Well, Jack, let's put the game in its proper perspective. Actually, the game means nothing to both schools except for the bragging rights of the city and to give the coaches a long winter's night's sleep. The important thing to remember is the first time since I can recall, Marist is coming to this game as a definite favorite. Bayonne has not looked good the past 2 games. They were shut out by Westfield 16-0 and just blown out of the park by a very powerful North Bergen team 34-0. Wayne, you agree with me on this?
Yeah, I know Bayonne has had some problems, but I think both teams have an interesting incentive today, Mike. For one thing, Bayonne right now is going for a winning season, and everybody likes to go out a winner, especially with a winning record. I think that has to be a big plus. And with Marist, I think a lot of people are not aware that as good as Marist has been with building consistent winners over the year, they've never had 8 wins in a season. So this is something that I'm sure they'll be going for too, as well as for the bragging rights of the city.
Jack, in the middle of the field, Don Ahern is meeting with the officiators, and Jackie Moore, coach of the Royal Knights, will be coming out there soon. Just to talk to you fans for a minute, Bayonne will be wearing red shirts with white trousers. Marist, who usually wears blue, is switched to white for this year and wearing yellow trunks. The scoreboard clock will be official today. The Bayonne team is home and the Marist are the guests.
One thing I'd like to stress, let's bring out some of the more important aspects of this game. We were talking before we went on the air, the fact that Matuch, the quarterback for Bayonne, he'll be wearing number 16 today, has not looked good in the past 2 outings, both shutouts. It is important for him to get off to a good start today if Bayonne is to have any hopes of winning this football game.
Well, Bobby was at a disadvantage. Usually a quarterback in high school ball gets at least 2 years to play. Last year, Bayonne had a Richie Wright, who was an outstanding quarterback, and this year Bobby was handled the reins. And like you said, Bobby is a strong passer. However, his biggest fault, I think, is sometimes he gets a little nervous if he doesn't get the protective coverage that he needs to throw. He can overthrow the ball. The kid can throw the ball 50, 60 yards if given the opportunity, Jack. And I think passing will be a key spot to the game. As you're looking at the screen right now, in the middle of the field is Mayor Collins with a little youngster there. If we can zoom in just a little bit on that. Mayor Collins will do the opening kickoff. He has the football in his hand right now. Holding the ball for the mayor will be Councilman Neil DeCenter, who in his day was a good football player. To receive Mayor Collins' kick will be Jack Foy and another gentleman I just can't recognize right now. And there goes the kick. Hey, the mayor broke his last year's record, Wayne. It's going. He's down to the 10. Jack Foy, who isn't as fast as he used to be, is running after the ball. That's our mayor, Mr. O'Leary, picking up the little youngster.
Another thing, gentlemen, Marist back here after that tough defeat last week at the hands of Bergen Catholic. Of course, Bergen Catholic, depending on which poll you read, supposedly number 1 in the state. Marist went into the game with a 7-1 record, and they lost 34-8. How will that affect their confidence for today's Thanksgiving Day matchup?
I don't think it's going to enter into perspective. I think Bergen Catholic definitely is the number 1 team in the state. I mean, they could probably beat the New York Giants and Jets right now. I talked to Jackie Moore over the weekend. He says it wasn't as much of a letdown as he thought it was. He knew he was going in against a strong team. He prepared for it, and Bergen Catholic blew him out of the field almost in the first quarter by passing, something more than expect to do.
The captains are meeting down at the field. For Marist, it is Valente and Munn, number 15 and 24, respectively. And for Bayonne, the captains are number 33, that's Quinones, and 21, Vetter. In addition, that is also number 85, Pete Blinn. He is another captain for for Bayonne. And we are waiting the flip of the coin to signify what situation we will have, whether Bayonne or Marist will be receiving the opening kickoff.
One of the keys that Wayne would like to talk about. Wayne, what about Marist's kicking game?
There's an interesting change for today's game from what we understand. Nick Berardinelli is supposed to kick extra points and field goals for today. Now, neither team has attempted a field goal this season. Berardinelli was the goalie for the soccer team, had an outstanding season. Definitely one of the best goalies in the county, capable of kicking the long ball in soccer. And it might be an interesting thing for today's game to watch, too.
All right, Marist has won the toss, and they have elected to receive. And both teams are now huddling up with their coaches, and they are getting ready for the matchup number 24 in this long history of fine football being played here in Bayonne. As we mentioned before, 21 of the last 23 contests have gone in favor of Bayonne, so Marist looking to end that streak right here with a victory, and as we mentioned, they are the favorite for this morning's game.
Well, the thing to remember is those last 21 out of 23 don't mean a thing today, Jack. As we look at the Marist cheerleaders, and we have a far shot of the Marist group, one thing, before the game, you and I walked on the field at that point was a little firm. I think as the sun's hitting it now, it's going to soften up just a little bit. The field isn't dry. It's a gorgeous Thanksgiving day for football, and I'm really looking forward to a great ball game, one of the better classic Marist-Bayonne confrontations.
All right, definitely. As we walk down there, we notice the field is in excellent shape for playing football. The conditions are very good. It's not loose, it's a hard surface, and with the cold weather, it'll probably stay that way for the remainder of the day, so I don't think the field will have any outcome on this game. I think the traction will be very good.
We're watching Bayonne huddle for their last-minute instructions. Early this morning, when we checked the field, as I said earlier, the wind was blowing very strongly from south to north. However, it seems to have calmed down, Jack, and I don't think the wind's going to be that much of a factor.
We're almost ready for the opening kickoff. Marist has taken the field, and Bayonne is still huddled around Coach Don Ahern. As we mentioned, Bayonne 4-4 on the season, not one of the better Bayonne squads for this season.
Marist will be on the left of your screen as we watch Bayonne come onto the field. Bayonne will be defending the goal to the north, and as I said, wearing red jerseys. Marist will be on the left side of your picture in white jerseys.
Okay, Munn will be back for Marist, along with number 29, Robinson, and of course, Reggie Smith, fine all-around player for Bayonne, will be doing the kicking.
Reggie Smith, by the way, Jack, takes one of the shortest approaches to the opening kick I've ever seen in my life. However, he does kick a ball that is difficult to handle. It goes end over end with a lot of spin. And if the receiver tries to catch it running on the fly, he could have a problem. And we're seconds away from opening kick. Take it, Jack.
And we are about ready. Smith eyeing up the tee. He's about set, as we mentioned. Munn is deep along Robinson. Here we are underway. He'll be taken on the ground by Robinson, and he'll move ahead to about around the 28, 29 yard line of Marist, where they will take.
All right, Bayonne defense coming on the field, and in the front line for Bayonne will be Quinones, Tompkins, Blinn, DeChario, and Reggie Smith, who just kicked off. In the backfield for Marist, we'll have Valente at quarterback, Munn and Crowley will be running backs, along with Robinson.
All right, John Valente, number 15. He's a 5'7", 170-pound senior for Marist, and he'll be the quarterback this afternoon. He gets his runners in the set position, and Marist is set. Man in motion, handoff first back through, and he powers ahead for about 2-3 yards. That's Crowley.
Well, that's the first play of the game, and this is the one that you call, the youngsters want to get their first shot. They want to feel like what it's hit. We have close to 8,000 to 10,000 people here, and they want to get the cobwebs out of their system, and that play is usually designed to do that. Take it, Jack.
All right, they gave him 4 yards on that, so it'll be 2nd and 6 just underway from Veterans Stadium here in Bayonne. It's the Bees against the Royal Knights. Valente counter play, second back through. That's going only maybe a yard, 1-2 yards at the most. On the play that's Munn carrying for Marist, his first carry of the day.
John Valente, the quarterback, and he's one of my favorite ball players of all time. He doesn't pass as well as Matuch does. However, I think he's just a little more accurate than Bobby, the B quarterback. But John is definitely the better runner. Given the play, on a keeper or an end around, John can handle that ball, Jack.
They give him, they'll say they'll give him a yard on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 5 for Marist.
There's a Marist injured player coming off. That's cool. Klagowski's got hurt then. He seems to be limping. I think he'll be all right, probably a little shaken up.
Looks like to be some type of shoulder injury as he comes off to the sideline. 3rd and 5 for the Royal Knights at about their own 33. Valente calls the signals. Turns around, handoff wide right side. That's Munn. And Munn looks like he could have first down yardage. We'll have to see where they spot the ball. Nice run by Munn as he came around the right end for the Royal Knights.
Vinnie Munn is going to be one of the keys to this game, Wayne. Do you agree with me on that?
Definitely, he's had an outstanding year. Definitely one of the tougher running backs in the county.
Well, I think between Wayne, Crowley, and Valente, that's the key for Marist. If Valente can keep handing off to Munn and Crowley and keep ball control, they'll have that ball. They won't give the ball too much to the Bees, and I predict a close game. I saw it in the paper. You predicted a Bayonne victory. You still feel the same?
It's really a tough game to pick just because of the sheer rivalry, but I think one of the minor things that might prove to be very important is the exchanges. Matuch has to be able to get off smooth exchanges to avoid fumbles. That's been one of Bayonne's problems.
All right, so Marist rather did not get the first down. It looks to be short by a few feet. And they'll call it 4th and 1, and Marist will be forced to punt the football. Well, it looks like they're going to change their mind and go for it, Mike. That's kind of unusual strategy this early in the game down in their own territory.
Well, Moore has a lot of confidence in his running game, and like you said, he doesn't need much. I can't see that yard marker there. They're waiting for his positioning it.
So we have our first gamble in the football game early here in the first quarter.
He's got about 9 inches. Watch Valente on the keeper.
Valente calling the signals. Hands off. Second back through, and I don't think he got it.
It may be a fumble. It may be a fumble, Jack.
There's a fumble on the play, and Bayonne has recovered the football, so the gamble does not pay off as the recovery is by Quinones of the Bayonne Bees. And really tough play to call. You figure they'd punt the football this early in the game. Marist goes for it, doesn't get it. There's a fumble, and Quinones falls on the football for Bayonne, so the Bees get the first break in the game.
All right, Marist defense, the front line. Christie, Latwis, Quill, Klagowski, and Buonaconti. In the backfield for Bayonne will be Matucha, quarterback, Paul Cancro Jr., and Eduardo Quinones. I'm going to call him Eddie from here on in.
All right, 37-yard line of Marist High School. The Bees will have it. Marist has given up the football first turnover, and Bayonne in excellent field position as they look to put the first set of points on the scoreboard. Quarterback Matuch pitches right side. It's Quinones, and he goes nowhere, maybe a yard at the most. Marist defense read beautifully.
It looked like Quinones and Cancro got a little mix-up there. It looked like Quinones actually was tripped by Cancro on that play, Jack.
Excellent pursuit by the Marist linebackers as they stop that play cold. Maybe a gain of 1. So it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Bees at the 36 of Marist.
As we look at the Bayonne huddling, a key player for Marist defense is Tony Trainer, number 72. This kid is all county material.
2nd and 9 for the Bees at the Marist 36 as Matuch calls signals. Pitches left side now. This is Quinones once again. Tries the other side.
He's gone.
He's gone. Quinones is gone for Bayonne touchdown. 35 yards on the end around pitch left side, and Bayonne is on the board.
Marist may have had a mix-up in defensive alignment, and Quinones went through a hole. Wayne, I thought you could have drove a truck through that. Now, the key point of the game, as we look back at it, was Marist right in going for the first down on that 4th and short yardage? Right now, it looks like a gamble that didn't pay out, but if it worked, Marist would be in a good spot right now.
Well, immediately I figured that they would call for the punt first possession of the game down deep in their own territory. A gamble that I can't figure to make much sense, and it simply backfired, and Bayonne has taken the situation well in hand, and they scored on a 36-yard run by Quinones, the fullback.
All right, Bayonne's going for 2-point play. They usually like to run around right side on this one.
Matuch, he's going to pass. Looking in the corner of the end zone, and it is broken up nicely.
Now, once again, as you well know from high school football, the 2-point play is an option. If he goes for the field goal attempt, he's got a 1-point play. However, the 2-point play now gives Moore the advantage. If he gets a touchdown and kicks the extra point, he's ahead.
The intended receiver was Tony Vetter. It was broken up beautifully by Vinnie Munn at the last second, or else it would have been 2 points. So as we stand now, it's Bayonne 6, Marist nothing. 9:24 to go, first quarter.
Well, Wayne, what do you think about that quick TD?
A little bit surprising. I think Quinones can be an explosive runner. Both backs, Kanker and Quinones, can run the ball, and I think he proved it right there.
So Smith will kick it off once again for the Bees of Bayonne. They've gotten off on the board early, something they had to do. And I think it'll give the whole Bee staff a lot more confidence as they fight this Marist team, who came in with the 7-2 record compared to Bayonne's 500 mark at 4-4.
The important thing to remember at this point, that's the first score Bayonne's had in its last 3 games. And that could be the thing that Bayonne needs to turn this game around. But don't sell Marist short yet.
All right, back once again will be Robinson and Munn for Marist. Smith getting set to go, and we're about set. 6-0 Bees. The kick is a squibbler. It bounces left side. It will be Robinson once again, and he's going to let it go out of bounds. So Marist will take over on the 30-yard line. Excuse me, 40-yard line, that is. That is the high school rule now. If the ball goes out of bounds, they take over on the 40. So Marist will have good field position as they try to tie up this game. 6-0 the Bees lead.
Again, the flow of the game is dictating the ground game will work out well. The pass on the extra point tie, which was no good, was the first pass of the game. Once again, Marist is definitely going to try to establish a strong running game.
It'll be Valente, the quarterback. Munn will be the tailback. Crowley, the fullback, and Al Robinson, the wingback. Paul Rochford is a split end for the Royal Knights of Marist. Cold, chilly are our conditions here at playing time. First back through, that's number 33. That's Crowley, and he gets ahead for about 3-4 yards. Good straight ahead running by Crowley.
One of the key matchups of the game, Jack, is very important. Tony Traynor, who, like I said, is an all-county linebacker in all probability, plays tackle on the offense. And he's matched up against a sophomore, Bob DiCario, who's only in his 2nd year of school. Now, Bob is a heavy, strong kid. They call him Mongo as a nickname. Let's see what he can do against Tony.
All right, Crowley will take a breather, and Baker replaces him. Now Baker will get the call. First play in, he drives ahead up to about 46, 47-yard line. So Marist will have a 3rd and short situation. 8:35 to go, first quarter. Bayonne up 6-zip.
That score that Bayonne had was only the 3rd rushing touchdown against Marist this year, Jack.
And as we mentioned before, Bayonne coming into this game back-to-back shutouts to Westfield and North Bergen. Bayonne has not scored in a long time. And it's important that they got on the board, as you mentioned.
He was talking about something else. Okay, next one we'll get.
Well, we're in midfield, and we're watching Marist come out of the huddle now.
3rd and 4. Valente barking out the signals. 3rd and 4 at the 46. Left side, end around play. This is number 29, Robinson, and he is driving ahead across midfield for first down yardage, it looks like, for Marist. So Marist is on the move.
That's one of Marist's favorite plays, and Jackie Moore's play. That operates very well at the end around from the Delaware wing T, which is the type of offense Marist uses. He will use that play quite often, using Robinson on that play. And it usually goes away from the flow of defense around towards the left side.
First down for Marist. They have it 1st and 10 at the Bayonne 48. Valente checks his backs. Handoff straight ahead, and he is met. And he is stopped. That's Crowley. Stopped right at the line. Looked to be number 76, Tompkins, in on the play. Good stick. But Crowley drives ahead, maybe gets 1-2 yards.
Tompkins is one of the defensive players. Don Erhane and his coaching staff have high hopes for next year. He's a huge lad, standing about 6'3" and weighing close to 200 pounds. He's a very fast kid on that line.
I will give him 2 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 8 for Marist High School at about the Bayonne 46. End around play once more. That's Munn. And Munn is going to be hit and dropped for a loss on a beautiful defensive play by Tony Vetter. And they're going to lose about 2-3 yards on that one. The end around does not work as 21 Vetter comes up and reads it beautifully for Bayonne.
The key to that play was Paul Cancro Jr. charging Vinnie Munn. He sort of delayed him and made him go deeper around the end where Vetter came in for the tackle. Tony Vetter is one of the most underrated players in high school football this year. He's a small youngster, doesn't weigh a lot, but he's got a lot of heart, and Don Ahern likes this kid very well.
So Marist is forced back to that line of scrimmage where they picked up the first down. It's back to being 3rd and 10, just over the midfield stripe. Valente's back to pass. He's looking, finds a receiver. It's Munn. And Munn is going to be close to a first down as he's driven out of bounds by 55 of Bayonne.
Ball was caught by Paul Roachford, who caught a key pass last year.
We'll see where they spot the football.
Marist is definitely on the move, so they're testing out that Bayonne defense. And Coach Moore, I'm sure, is going to start mixing his plays up a little better than he has. I'm sure that early TD was quite a shocker to him and his staff. However, don't sell them short. They came to play this game. They're very well prepared.
And it is a Marist High School first down, their second of this drive, and they are on the move now at the 38-yard line of Bayonne. Valente straight ahead running right up the middle. That's Baker. And Baker gets down to about the 35. We'll call it a 3-yard gain. Straight ahead running by Marist.
Marist uses Baker and Alfonso Robinson to call in plays along with Crowley. And these 2 or 3 gentlemen will call in plays from the side from Jackie Moore.
5:45 to go, first quarter, just underway. Bayonne off to the quick 6-0 lead on the 35-yard run by Quinones, the fullback around the left end. Valente has a man in motion. He gives on the end around to 29. That's Robinson, and Robinson is driven out of bounds after a fine gain. And that could be another Bayonne first down.
Quinones was the key to that play. He was in a proper position to force the runner to go out of bounds.
There's flags on the play, we'll have to see. Looks the way they're talking, it could be against Marist. They are talking to Bayonne.
It looked like clipping on Breshak for Marist.
So that would nullify a fine run by Marist.
Russ Pona, the center for Bayonne, has had 4 tackles this game already. And I'm just wondering, is he related to the fabulous Pona family of Bayonne?
So that's going to push Marist way back.
That hurts, Ed. That hurts. At this point in the game, that really hurts because of the fact Marist was definitely moving the ball. Now they've got looks like about 350 yards to go for a first down.
Well, they're going to go back all the way to their 47-yard line. And they're going to call it 2nd and 25. What do you call here?
What?
Valente gives the ball to Munn, and Munn circling, avoiding tackles, and he's going to be brought down after a gain. He must have ran a half mile and only maybe picked up a yard as he was avoiding tacklers the whole time, and then finally dragged down by a group of Bayonne linebackers after a short gain.
We just had Jackie Moore and his coaching staff on the screen there, but the key to that play then was Reggie Smith. He came up very quickly and grabbed the runner around the shirt and delayed him long enough for the other guy to make the tackle. Reggie is perhaps one of the quickest runners on his field.
So they will not give him any gain at all on the play. 3rd and 25 for Marist at about their own 47-yard line.
Bayonne is in a 5-2 defense.
Valente back to pass, looking for receiver, is being rushed, finds one in 33, Crowley, and Crowley is going to lose yardage on the screenplay, and the Bayonne defense is fired up.
Jack, did you see all the Bayonne players around here making that tackle? That play didn't fool anyone. It looks like Ahern has prepared his team quite well.
Look very sharp defensively, and they've really stopped the Marist attack so far. Of course, they got help from that 15-yard clipping penalty, but Bayonne looks like they came to ready to play football this morning.
O'Connor's back to punt for Marist, and time is called for Bayonne.
Bayonne will signal for the timeout.
All right, Wayne. Give me your opinion of both teams very quickly.
Well, I think one of the keys is Bayonne's pursuit. They've been in there on the plays, but they have given up a little bit of yardage along the way. They're tightening up now, which is typical of Bayonne. It seems they give you a little bit from the 20 to 20, and then as soon as you start opposing some kind of a threat, their defense tightens up and usually pushes back. It's only the last couple of games where they've really been hit for points, but they have been playing well all year. They've given up 106 points, which is really a lot for a team that's 4-4, but it tells you something about what they can do in the key situations. They do tighten up when it really counts against a lot of teams.
Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it.
And as we mentioned before, gentlemen, I think it's really important that Bayonne got on the scoreboard early after a string of about 8 or 9 quarters where they did not score a point. And they really look like they're ready to play against Marist. Marist has looked sluggish so far.
Like I said, Marist played Saturday against Bergen Catholic, and their days of preparation were very short. They only had 3 days. And there was a lot of activities, a lot of dinners and rallies going on, so they've not really had that much time to prepare.
Marist will punt the football. O'Connor. Smith is back deep for Bayonne, and the punt
That's a bad one.
Dropped. The snap is dropped, and Bayonne is going to get another break. Bayonne falls on the punter O'Connor after the poor snap, and Bayonne will take over right there, deep in Marist territory. So Bayonne has themselves another break, and they'll see if they can capitalize once again.
I find it's very unusual because the last 2 games, the Bayonne kicker against Westfield North Bergen had a lot of trouble handling the football, and they cost them a couple of touchdowns and yards. Now here Marist with 2 key mistakes, the holding penalty, which cost them a stop the drive, and now this fumble.
Bayonne football at the Marist 32, under 4 minutes to go, first quarter. Bayonne already with a 6-0 lead. First back through is number 13. That's Cancro, and Cancro not much doing as he's hit by a whole host of Marist defenders up on the defensive front.
Greg Quill was the initial stopper on that play. Paul had a little hole opening, but it closed up rather quick. As we look at the Marist cheerleaders down there right now, very briefly, as Bayonne calls in another play, both coaches will call in their plays from the sideline.
2nd and 10 for the Bees at about the 30-yard line of Marist. Bertucci's set, number 23. That's Wilson in motion. Handoff right up the middle. Maybe a yard, 2 yards at the most.
Stopped by Rich Glogowski.
One of the strange things about this game, Mike, I find it's an interesting irony, is Bayonne in the 2 previous games had horrible field position throughout most of the games. This time, they started their 2 possessions with great field position.
Glogowski, who made that tackle, is hurt. He's on his knees, and the attendant from Bayonne and Marist is over to see what's going on.
He was the initial tackler on the play, made the fine stop, but he is injured on the play and looks like he'll be replaced.
There's no way they're going to get this guy out of this game permanently. He's going to come back on his sideline, jog around for a few minutes. He's coming right back in it. He'll play with a broken arm if he has to, I'm sure.
He was injured, as I remember, earlier on a play, and he looks like he's holding that same left shoulder, and he looks like he is in a lot of pain.
Well, let's hope the youngster's okay.
All right, he's replaced by Schibetta in that linebacking group for Marist.
He was hurt early this year in a few other games, so he's been playing all year with an injury, so let's give the kid a lot of credit.
3rd and 8 for Bayonne as they look to keep the drive alive in Marist territory. End around play, this is Cancro. Cancro moving ahead for yards down to about the 24-yard line, but it will be short of the first down.
Paul Cancro, the carrying that ball, is the son of the athletic director, Paul Cancro Sr., and they also have another boy playing that team, Wayne. Paul Cancro Sr. is one of the illustrious athletes in Bayonne history. He's in the Bayonne Hall of Fame for football, baseball, you name it. Does a wonderful job, and he's very proud of his 2 boys out there.
Marist has signaled for a timeout, and it's an interesting situation for Bayonne here. What do you do? 2:21 to go first quarter. You have a 4th and 4. And since neither team has even attempted a field goal this year, you got to figure that Bayonne will try to maybe short a little short screen pass or some kind of a run.
There is, I'm sorry, Jack, there's young Richie bowing his head. He looks all right, though. Don Ahern is in the center of the huddle there coaching his youngsters, and Jackie Moore has entered the picture. There is Jackie coming back. Jackie lost over 35 pounds from last year, and this year he fits on our screen very well.
What do you think, Mike? What do you think the Bees will do? Obviously, since they haven't attempted that field goal, they probably will go for it on 4th and 4.
I doubt if they're going to go for a field goal. I don't think Reggie Smith can reach this range. The ball is going to be, what, the...
24, looks like.
24, so it's going to be about a 35-yard kick, plus whatever distance he's back. And there is the injured player really up close. There's our on-the-field camera getting some wonderful shots today. The youngster seems to be in some pain, but he'll be back. Marist also uses the 5-2 defense, and the key to defensive backfield is linebacker Tony Trainer.
All right, so the Bees will come to the line. 4th and 4. They are going for it. Cornerback Matucci fumbles the snap. He falls on it, and Marist has a break.
And once again, the snapping problems have hurt Bayonne the last 2 or 3 games. For some reason or other, when that ball gets snapped back to Matucci, he seems to be not handling it well. I don't know if his hands are cold or he's a little excited about the game, but that's been a big problem. And Jack, that could be a key play for Marist that could turn things around.
Could have been some basic over-anxiousness on the part of Matucci. Looked like he pulled out from the center opponent's snap a little bit too early. So nevertheless, it will be Marist football, because on the change of downs, that was 4th down, and Marist will have the football now about their own 26-yard line as they look to go on the drive with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. This is Valente. First back through, not much doing. Looked to be Munn on the keeper, straight up through.
I'll tell you one thing, Jack, there is a lot of hard hitting going on in that front line. The Trainers, the Charios, the Quinoneses, they know how to play this game up front.
So it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Royal Knights of Marist on the 2-yard run by Vinnie Munn.
Moore keeps trying to establish the ground game, and he may get there yet.
Valente, 3 running backs, back to pass, looking around, spots the receiver. It's 84. That's Rochford, and he is nailed by number 13, Cancro, who goes both ways, as do a lot of these Bayonne Bees.
I was watching on that play, Jack, pardon me, I was watching Al Robinson run his pattern, and he was well wide open there for about 3-4 seconds. But Valente probably had only Rochford in mind as a receiver and didn't notice Robinson running that far.
All right, they'll call it a 2-yard pass completion. Valente going to Rochford. So we'll have a 3rd and 6 for Marist.
Robinson's wide left this time.
Under a minute to go. First quarter, Bayonne leads at 6-0. Valente back to pass. Flags on the play. Pass over the middle, caught by Rochford. That's good for a first down if it'll hold up, but there is flags on the play.
Usually when you see a flag like that play, it's against the deep offensive team. And Bayonne boys seem to be clapping their hands as Marist walks back dejectedly. That's another key play. These penalties hurt Marist already. There was a definite first down with a long game, but now they're going to go back and be in deep trouble again.
Second time in the ball game that Marist has had a first down nullified by the penalty. Last time it came down in Bayonne's territory on a clipping penalty. Now Marist has signaled for illegal procedure, nullifying another first down on the completion to Rochford, and they will find themselves in about a 3rd down 11 situation deep in their own territory now with just 39 seconds to go in the first quarter of play.
All right, after this play,
Valente on the 3rd and 11. Back to pass, Oving passing situation again, and there's more flags. He's in deep pursuit, and he looks for intercepted. Intercepted by Jeffrey Wilson for Bayonne. There are flags on the play. It looks like it probably be against Marist again, and Bayonne could find themselves in another fine situation.
Illegal procedure against Marist on that play.
I'm sure Bayonne will nullify that penalty call and take the football right there on the interception by Wilson.
Bayonne is putting a strong pass rush against Valente. He really didn't have too much time to pass on that play.
So Marist has turned the football over once again, and Bayonne finds themselves with just 15 seconds to go in the first quarter of play with the ball deep in Marist territory.
This is another good opportunity for Bayonne to get on the scoreboard. I think the clock is going to run out before we get this playoff going.
3 seconds. Yes, they will get the playoff. Last play of the first quarter. Matucci's back, and he fumbles the football. They stripped him clean. But they're going to keep it for Bayonne. They're going to say he was trying to attempt to throw the ball, and they'll call it an incomplete pass.
Again, ball handling on Bayonne. As we look at the Marist cheerleaders, these lovely young ladies, the captains are Rita Kennelly, Allison McFarland, Kathy Mikowski, and Janet Cutter. They do a terrific job.
All right, that'll be the end of the first quarter of play, everybody. We have ourselves an exciting football game here. Bayonne leads at 6-0. We'll be back right after this. Dal and Wayne Witowski bring you all the action here. Bayonne leads at 6-0, and gentlemen, we've completed 1 quarter of play so far. Wayne, your assessment so far, first quarter of football.
Marist is losing. They've shown a lot of character. They're still trying to move the ball. Bayonne's having trouble with fumbles. They're definitely going to have to try and cut down on that.
All right, Bayonne B football now inside Marist territory, 2nd and 13 for the Bees. Matuch calling signals that this direction play, this is 21 Vetter, and Vetter gains only a few yards. They countered, faked the run right, and then came back with Vetter going left.
I spoke about Vetter early, and I still haven't changed my mind. He's a tough competitor. Jack, I hope later on our viewer and the audiences can see this kid in action as he's leaving the game right now. A lot of courage, a lot of moxie, and that defeat to Westfield 16-0 2-3 weeks ago, right to the last second, that kid was playing his heart out, and I spoke to him briefly after the game, and he had a few tears in his eye. Well, after today, the last game of the year for him, I hope he doesn't cry. I hope he gets a nice scholarship. Nice youngster.
And Marist, defensive team coming over to talk about what exactly they will be discussing in terms of what Bayonne might do here. 3rd and long, could be a pass play. Bayonne will look probably in a formation that will have an extra wide receiver for this 3rd and long situation.
I don't know if we can anticipate a pass with 8 yards to go for the first down with the problem Matuch has had handling the ball.
3rd and 11 for the Bees. Matuch calling signals. As a man in motion, and you're right, it's going to be a pitch left side. Quinones, who scored the touchdown, he's going to get ahead maybe 6-7 yards short of the first down. They pitched left. Marist must have been figuring pass, and they countered with the end-around pitch left side, and Quinones, who scored that brilliant 36-yard touchdown run, is stopped short of the first down. Bayonne 4th down, and about 4 or 5 yards to go for a first down.
Quinones on those outside runs is a very quick runner and has an amazing ability to use his defenders as a blocker. And here are the lovely Bayonne cheerleaders from Bayonne High School. The captains are Joanne Tretto and Joanne Johnstone. Back to the game now.
4th and 5 for the Bees, deep in Marist territory.
Key play.
Matuch fakes the handoff. He's going to roll out left himself, looking for it himself, and he's going to be, looks like to be a little bit short. Marist might have ran him out before he got there.
Well, Matuch isn't that adept at running the ball himself as Valenti is. And don't forget, like we said earlier, he's only had 1 year of experience as quarterback and thrown into a nice circumstance like that. One remark, Edward Quinones, who carried the ball in the previous play, is a track star with the Bayonne High School team.
All right, Marist will take over on downs as Matuch is stopped short of the first down. Looked to be about a yard or two short, so it will be Marist football as they drive the other way now, looking to tie the score, which now stands at 6-0 for the Bees.
10:22 left in the second quarter.
Valente hands off first back through, met by a whole host of Bayonne tacklers.
At this end of the field, Jack, I strongly suspect Marist will keep the ball on the ground. They don't want to risk an interception here. They're still in this ball game. It's only 6-0, and they haven't received one break yet.
Rowley cowered the football for only a yard. Under 10 minutes to go, second quarter now.
Baker ran in the play call from Jackie Moore from Marist.
Valente gets his team set. 2nd and 9 for Marist. Man in motion, that's Robinson. He comes up straight through. This is Baker. Baker running ahead for fine yardage. Looks to be about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down. A little misdirection play there. And Baker, who looks like he has excellent speed, saw the hole and made the best of it.
There's Baker there, number 11. He's a fast youngster, has deceptive speed. He had a large hole right there open, but it closed kind of quick. Crowley and Baker out.
3rd down coming up for the Royal Knights of Marist.
Baker is only a sophomore. I stand corrected.
3rd and 3.
Watch an end around on this one.
Important play here to keep the Marist drive alive. Valente swoops the pitch left side. This is Munn. Munn breaking it through. He's got it. He may go. He may go. This is Munn, and he's dragged out of play. Dragged out of bounds by Cancro. Vinny Munn, fine run down inside Bayonne territory. Looks to break it all the way down to about the 34-yard line of Bayonne.
A key to that play on the defense was Ed Quinones coming over, forcing Munn to go further outside and slowing down the straight pursuit. Cancro coming up with a game-saving play.
If he got by Cancro, he had himself 6 points, but Paul Cancro came up and made the stop. So Munn.
That's what Marist has been noted for this whole year, those long gain running plays using Munn.
Munn with the fine run on the play for Marist. 1st and 10 at the 35. This is Baker once again. Baker busts through for 6-7 yards, and Marist's offensive line is starting to open up those holes.
My God, momentum seems to have shifted now, Jack. It's a little bit towards Marist's side. You agree, Wayne?
Well, definitely. I think they did move the ball pretty well throughout the game so far, but then again, they've been hurt by penalties and some bad breaks along the way, too.
Baker's turning out to be a surprise for Moore in this game. He's been using the youngster quite well all year. And Marist can certainly use some key plays right now.
I'd go credit with Baker. 5 yards on the first down play. 2nd and 5 for Marist. 8:20 to go, second quarter. This is right up the middle, straight ahead running. That's Crowley. And Crowley looks to be near a first down as he took the straight ahead fullback run, and he just barreled through a host of Bayonne B players, and he gets close to the first down. The refs will call time for the measurement.
While the measurement's coming in, Crowley, who was the carrier on that last play, didn't play at all last year. He had broken arm, if I remember correctly. This is the first time since I've seen Marist play Bayonne that Marist is playing with no injured players. 100%. And Jackie Moore says he never would use an injury as an excuse, but he's been really looking forward to playing them full staff, and he's got it now.
Marist picks up the first down on the play. I believe that's first down number 4 for the Royal Knights. First down for Marist at about the 20-yard line.
Definitely on the move.
8 minutes to go, second quarter. Pitch right side. This is Munn once again breaking through. 15-10. Dragged down at about the 8-yard line. It'll be another Bayonne, or rather Marist first down. Excellent running by Vinnie Munn, and Munn looks like he has breakaway speed for the Royal Knights.
Vinnie Munn is, along with Baker, proving to be a key.
Unofficially, we have Munn for 53 yards so far in the game. That's excellent. We're only early second quarter.
7:32 left. Marist in scoring position.
I will call it about the 8-yard line. They say he only got 9, so it's 2nd and 1, straight ahead running. And looks like a fumble. Fumble on the play. It's picked up by Bayonne. It looks like Fulton picked it up.
What happened on that? Valenti seemed to have lost his footing temporarily as he was reaching for the ball, and it just slipped right out of his hands. And once again, now we have 3 key plays in this game so far. A long penalty and 2 bad fumbles.
Another Marist turnover cost them once again. They were driving, had the excellent runs by Munn, and that time straight ahead handoff, fumble on the play. It was picked up by Fulton, and Bayonne gets another break. They'll have the ball 1st and 10, deep in their own territory about the 6. Tough break so far for Marist. This is Quinones. Quinones up to the 20, 25, got a man to beat, and he's tripped up by Munn, or else Quinones would have been gone for his second TD.
Vinnie Munn, playing a whale of a ball game on deep offense, just comes up with a defensive gem, stopping that. That was a sure touchdown. He was the only man left.
Quinones showing he has fine ability in the open field, breaking tackles. Munn was the last man, or else he would have been gone.
That was the Bayonne High School band. You just saw that, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big gain. Gets Bayonne out of deep trouble there. What I was worried about was the safety then, Wayne.
Yeah, Bayonne has had some problems moving the ball on their own end of the field when they have had bad field position, but they came through this time.
1st and 10, Bayonne at about their own 20-yard line. Flags everywhere as Matuch hands off to 21 Vetter, but this play is stopped and they'll have a legal procedure call on the Bees.
That was pretty obvious to our viewing audience. Even I saw that one, Jack.
6:35 to go in the first half. Bayonne leads at 6-0, but I'm sure when we get the statistics at halftime, we'll see Marist dominating. It's just that they have been hurt so much by penalties and, of course, the turnovers.
Oh, those turnovers are killing Marist. Actually, this game should be about 14-0 in favor of Marist.
1st and 15 from the 15 right now. Just over 6 minutes to go in the first half. This is a pitch left side. Quinones once again looking ahead for yardage, and he is swarmed under. That time they found Quinones and stopped them. Maybe a gain of 1-2 yards at the most, as Marist was right there to read it beautifully.
The Marist line is playing very well defensively. They've been on the field an awful long time, so we got less than 6 minutes to play now. And the longer the defense stays on the field, those boys are going to get tired. You just can't keep getting hit. I see Klogowski coming back in for Marist, number 70, so apparently we were right. He wasn't that seriously hurt.
Well, that's got to take a lot of guts. He's coming in there. His left arm has been hurting him the whole game, and he is dragging around it. And it's a lot of gutsy character on the part of the young man as he's back in there for Marist in this final game of the season. 2nd and 13, 5:20 to go. First half, and there's another flag. I think Bayonne might have taken too much time, Mike.
Yeah, Bayonne has been noted for that. For some reason or other, they have difficulties getting the plays off sometimes with the runner coming in from the side dictating the play. That was obvious then. By the way, I've just been handed a note. Klogowski played for Bayonne High School last year. He's in his senior year with Marist. And there's an unusual one. I wonder if there's any cash or players involved in that trade, Wayne.
So the 5 yards will push Bayonne back to about their own 12-yard line. Will be 2nd and 18 for Bayonne. And another flag. Will it be encroachment, or did the Bayonne offensive line jump off? I think it might have been 76 Tompkins jumping off for Bayonne. And that's what it'll be.
Again, Bayonne's inexperience is starting to show just a little bit with another illegal procedure call. Right now, they've got about 2.5 miles to go for first down, Jack.
And that was the right tackle. Steve Tompkins, number 76, jumped off for Bayonne, and Bayonne's going to want to talk it over. They have 2nd and 23 down deep in their own territory, and I'm sure Coach Ahern does not want any mistakes down this deep in their own situation.
I know if Joyce can get it because she's out on the field. He's going to be walking back to the...
Don Ahern, coach of Bayonne High, is in the huddle. He's talking to a referee right now. We can zoom in just a little closer on that shot. Wayne, you want to say something?
Yeah, one other thing, too, with Bayonne. This is the time when the Bees have to be very, very careful on offense, because in the Union game, in the season opener, they had 2 turnovers on their own end that led to touchdowns. Against Westfield, they had problems moving the ball in key situations on their own end of the field when they had bad field position. They have to be concerned right now with holding onto the ball and moving it out of there. This is the key time for them.
There's Jackie Moore, the coach of Marist, and he's a little bit worried right now. But however, I think if Moore gets out of this first half with a 6-0 deficit, he's in pretty good shape, because his offensive line is taking its toll a little bit on the Bayonne defense.
Mike, aside from the turnovers, you have to feel that Marist is playing a good football game. They are driving, they are gaining yardage. It's just these turnovers are killing them. The offensive production is there. It's just when they get down deep in Bayonne territory, they make those mental mistakes, and if they can correct that, I think they'll be all right.
I feel that way, too. If he gets out of this 6-0 at the half, he's in good shape. There is part of perhaps one of the largest crowds of all time at the Bayonne Marist football game. They're standing on the sidelines on the field even.
And this is the running back, number 21. That's Vetter. Vetter driving ahead on 2nd and long. And he'll have a few yards, not nearly enough for the first down. It'll now be 3rd down.
That's an excellent video shot of showing you what Tony Vetter's made out of. He's small, but he charged right into that line. It was like hitting a brick wall, but the brick wall sort of collapsed temporarily.
So the line of scrimmage will now be approximately the 15-yard line. They'll give him 7 yards on the play. Fine run by Vetter. 3rd and 16 for Bayonne.
I think what Ahern is hoping for is to break away and run. He's certainly not going to throw in his position. If he can get a long gain out of Quinones or Cancro and move the field up for a good kick, he just wants to hold on to the football right now.
Tooch hands off. This is Quinones once again, and he is swarmed. He gets nowhere. Looked like Trainer was the initial one in there.
Tony's been sort of in the background a little bit today, but now he came up with a very key play.
That's the first time I believe we've called his name so far. Excellent hit on stopping Quinones, and that'll force Bayonne High School to punt the football.
As we look at Quinones there, one of the keys to remember is Bayonne and other teams look at the game pictures, the movies. Oh, there's 2 gorgeous little dolls, aren't they? How about that? Getting back to football again, there's timeout on the field. But both teams look at the game films. And most of the teams in Hudson County watch Tony Trainer's lateral pursuit. He's great at that. And they will basically run away from him, even though he has strong lateral pursuit, because they can easily block him out with double keying him. Right, Wayne?
That's true. There's one other thing, too. I think a lot of people might be wondering why Bayonne is taking a timeout at this particular point. Well, with 4th and long, they're in a punting situation. I'm sure Don Ahern wants to go over everything with his players. It only calls to mind the last game Bayonne had against North Bergen. I'm sure most Bayonne fans don't even want to think about that one. It was a sheer nightmare. And the big reason why North Bergen exploded for that big win was all the turnovers that Bayonne had on its own end of the field, particularly deep in its own territory. I'm sure Ahern doesn't want that to happen again.
Bayonne has had some trouble with the kicker getting the snap from center. Kicking for Bayonne is Foy, the last son of the ennobled Jack Foy and family to play football for Bayonne High.
All right, Foy will hit it from
There
the
it
base
is.
about 2, and it's back. It's going to be safety for Marist. The snap by Pono was way over the head of the punter, Jay Foy, number 20, and Marist is on the scoreboard with the safety.
Well, I hate to say I told you so, but I think we called that one up here, didn't we?
6-2 is our score, and Marist is going to get the football back in a good situation here with 3:49 to go in the first half. And this game so far on Thanksgiving morning can easily be labeled just a game of mistakes by both sides now, as Bayonne is starting to get into the act with a few mistakes of their own.
Well, the key to remember on his safety is it's 2 points for Marist, but also they will receive the ball. Bayonne free kicks it. As far as Bayonne-Marist games go, this is probably one of the more exciting ones because of the turnovers and mistakes they're making. But you don't like to see youngsters do that because this game is going to live with them for a long time.
And it's also important to notice the fact that this game seems a lot more competitive this year because Marist is on an equal level, if not more talented than the Bayonne Bees, where it hasn't been so much so in the past few years. All right, it will be a free punt by Bayonne to Marist. Marist will get the ball in excellent position as Reggie Smith will probably hit it from his own 20-yard line.
I thought this was a free kick. He's allowed to place the ball down on the tee, Wayne?
He has the option of doing either one, Mike, and that's basically what they're deciding to do. I guess they're looking for a longer kick.
The Bayonne cheerleaders haven't had too much to cheer about this quarter.
So far this year, as we await the kick, Bayonne has outscored their opponents 140 to 106. So they lead right now 6-2. As they'll have another flag on the play, it looks like we might have to kick it over. And Marist, on the other hand, has really whooped their opponents so far in the season, outscoring them 189 to 36. And those 36 points that they gave up over their first 8 games was almost doubled by that one Bergen Catholic game alone, when you consider that Bergen Catholic scored 34. And previously in 8 games, Marist had only given up 36. So that must tell you something about that Bergen Catholic squad.
Did you mention the 4 shutouts in a row for Marist this year, Jack?
4 shutouts in a row. I'm sorry. That's right.
Well, let's hope Reggie Smith's hoping he doesn't kick a ground ball this time. No, he gets a nice one away.
Smith boots it deep. It'll be taken by Robinson, and Robinson crosses midfield, and he gets down to about, let's call it the 41-yard line of Bayonne. So Marist has the ball in excellent position once again. Let's see if they can control the football and not make any of those mistakes which have plagued them so far in the first half.
Al Robinson is a great open field runner. When he gets that ball, he's not afraid of going into those guys charging at him full blast. Wayne, I think he's perhaps one of the most underrated players on the Marist football team. You don't hear too much about him, but he's there. Marist, with 3:37 left to play, is trying to put more points on the scoreboard.
This is Valente handing off to Crowley, and Crowley gets ahead maybe a yard, and he is hit and brought down by DeChara.
That's Mongo DeChario. By the way, I know Mongo's father very well. Joe was usually working the sidelines with the markers. Joe, his father, was a great softball pitcher in his day, and I know him very well, and he works with me.
And he is just a sophomore for the Bees, so he'll have a fine career ahead of him starting in his sophomore campaign.
I think we'll hear more about this youngster in future years.
All right, Valente has a 2nd and 9 confronting him here, and he gives off on the misdirection to Munn. Munn open field running down to about let's call it the 34-yard line of Bayonne. Nice run again by Munn.
Marist players were signaling fumble on that ball, but the play was blown dead before then.
So we'll be a 3rd down. We'll give him 7 yards. It looks like it'll be about a 3rd and 2. So Munn has had himself a fine football game so far with his great open field running.
2:28 left to play in the second half. 6-2 Bayonne over Marist.
All right, Valente has it about 3rd and 2.5. He pitches right side. Munn again on the call.
There goes
Driving
Vinny. He's
ahead
got
for first
room.
down yards. He's got the first down. Another saving tackle by Cancro. I'll tell you, Mike, if Cancro didn't get him that time, it was an 8-6 contest, as Munn really tough to bring down in the open field. That's the second time Cancro has had to make a touchdown saving tackle.
You sort of get the feeling that Vinny Munn, number 24, who we're looking at right now, is going to explode before this game is over. He's getting very well yardage on those outside moves. If he ever goes to the center of that line and very few guys get a hold of him, he's going all the way.
I have unofficially 6 first downs now for Marist in the first half. So they must be dominating the offensive statistics, although they trail 6-2. We're under 2 minutes to go, second quarter. 6-2 Bayonne. Valente on the 1st and 10. Straight ahead, that's Baker. Baker drives ahead for good yardage, maybe 4 yards on the play. Just straight ahead fullback running, and Baker just put his head down and went right up the middle.
Well, Marist has got about 1 minute and 40 seconds left to do something, and they may be using a timeout after this play. There's Derek Baker, number 11, coming off the play. He's been having a fantastic game. Baker has surprised me this game, Ben.
All right, 2nd and 5 for Marist. Only a minute 20 to go, first half. They'd like to get on the scoreboard before halftime. Left side pitch goes to Munn. Munn is in a lot of trouble and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage if he's lucky. He's swarmed over by a host of bees. And first man on the play was Jeffrey Wilson. He's a junior, and he came up from his cornerback slot and really laid the hit to Munn, and Marist wants to talk it over about what they can do with just 1:05 to go in the first half.
Marist is calling a timeout with 1:05 left in the second period. It's 6-2 in favor of Bayonne. Jeff Wilson, who made the tackle on that play, is only a junior, and the Bayonne coaches have a lot of hopes for him next year, along with the Chario and a few others. Right now they have the nucleus. As we look at Coach Jackie Moore working onto the field, Bayonne and Marist have the nucleus for fairly decent teams next year. We must remember in high school football, Jack, you don't hold on to these players too long. When they're in their senior year, that's it. Now, this could very well be the last game of organized football many of these youngsters will play, unless they go on to college, because there are no organized football leagues in Hudson County that I know of. Wayne, you know of any?
No, not really. Not really. One interesting thing about Marist, though, right now, is that you might say they're playing roles with certain players on the field. I noticed in this particular game, it seems Valente is pitching out more than he usually does, and he's pitching out to Munn around the ends. They're trying to get Munn open around the ends for the big yardage, and they're going with Baker up the gut, which shows that Christie is doing a tremendous job at center. He's really opening up a lot of holes, and I think that's the key to Marist's success up the middle.
One thing that hasn't happened yet is Valente hasn't shown it all to Dom Scabetta, who was one of his prime receivers early in the year. Number 42. Maybe it'll happen on this play. Scabetta's on the right end this time.
All right.
1:05 left.
1:05 to go. 3rd and 5 for Marist as they try to keep the drive alive. They trail 6-2. Valente's back to pass, looking for receiver. Has the time over the middle, intended for number 84.
And once again, we have a turnover.
And Rochford, and it is intercepted by Bayonne, and another Marist turnover.
Rochford had to jump a little bit for that ball. It went off his fingertips high into the air, and you smelled interception all the way through. And once again, Marist, as we look at Paul Cancro walking back into the huddle, once again, Marist has a costly turnover. I'm sure Bayonne, Wayne, and Jack are simply going to run out the clock on this and get away with what Don Airhern feels is not a too comfortable lead, but he does have the lead. And don't forget, Marist was favored going into this game, and I'm expecting one heck of a whale of a second half.
Marist has to get in that locker room and regroup. They have just made too many mental mistakes and turnovers, which has cost them dearly here in the first half. They should be winning this football game. There's no doubt about it.
I doubt if we're going to see a timeout call. I think Moore would like to get his guys back into the locker room as we look at the Bayonne cheerleaders.
Cancro ran the ball that time for Bayonne. That's a 3-yard gain. I doubt if we'll see another play
15, 14, 13
in the
seconds.
first half. Bayonne looks like they'll be content to just let the clock run out.
To be honest, it's been a very sloppy first half, but I find it rather exciting. The fans are enjoying it, and it seems like only a matter of minutes before Marist is going to explode. And there's the end of the first half. 6-2 favor of the Bees over the Royal Knights. Wayne, you got anything to say about the first half?
I think Bayonne showed that its defense can come through. It has to have one of the most alert, opportunistic defenses in the county. There's no doubt about it. Last year, the defense was just tremendously quick and tremendously talented. I think this game is just an indication of a defense that is heads up all the way. Anytime you make a mistake on Bayonne, forget it. It's over.
All right, Josh, you close right here.
All right, that'll about do it for the first half of play. Once again, our score is Bayonne 6, Marist 2. It's been a sloppy first half, but an exciting first half of football, and we hope you'll stay tuned for the second half of play. And we'll have that second half for you after this.
Bayonne 6, Marist 2. We'll be right back.
Our score is 6-2. Bayonne leading Marist. Jack O'Leary with Mike Bodal and Wayne Witkowski. And I believe, Mike, you have an announcement you'd like to read.
Yes, we have two announcements. We have two fine organizations as we watch the Bayonne cheerleaders get ready for the Bayonne team entrance. Two announcements to make about dinners. The Marist Parents Football Association dinner honoring the Marist football team has been moved from January 20th to January 27th, 1983 at the Mackenzie Post. The Bayonne Alumni Association dinner will be December 10th, 1982 at the Mackenzie Post also. And by the way, both teams will be giving away trophies, which we hope to announce as we watch Marist plays. Wayne, give us the statistics. I can't say statistics anymore. Wayne, will you wrap up the first half for us, please?
Yeah, it's interesting that when you look at it in the first half, although Marist did control the ball, they had 24 running plays and 5 pass plays to Bayonne's 15 running plays and no passes. The yardage is comparable. Marist had 116 yards on the ground. Bayonne had 76 yards. That's only a 40-yard difference. And even in the air, Marist only had 12 yards passing. So you're talking about a net gain for Marist of 128 yards to Bayonne 76. It's not that lopsided, just like the score is a very close score for the first half. Individually, John Crowley, 6 carries, 18 yards. Vinnie Munn had 74 yards in the first half. He had 12 carries. Al Robinson had 1 carry for 5 yards. Derek Baker, the fullback, had 4 carries for 20 for Bayonne. Ed Quinones had an excellent first half. He had 6 carries for 59 yards. Paul Cancro had 3 carries for 8 yards, all tough yardage. Matuch had 3 carries for -2. That includes some of those fumbles on the exchanges from center. Anthony Vetter, 2 carries for 10 yards, and Wilson had 1 carry for 1 yard. An interesting thing to notice, though, I think in the first half, is the excellent game that Russell Pona had for Bayonne. He played center, and he was also the linebacker, number 55. He was coming in on a lot of the plays and pressuring Marist. And anytime when Marist did have trouble in the backfield, it was Pona who was providing the pressure. And on the other hand, for Marist, I think the key player, if you were to give an MVP to somebody other than maybe Vinnie Munn, the other choice in my book would have to be Rudy Bachanti, number 72. He played a great game on the offensive line. He opened up holes, and that's one of the reasons why Marist had over 100 yards rushing the first half, and the way I can see it was Bachanti's great blocking.
Thanks, Wayne. And here comes the Bayonne Bees on the field.
And
Marist.
Bayonne is making their way through now. Cancro breaks the banner that they had set up. And Bayonne High School has returned to the field. 6-2 our score for Bayonne. And gentlemen, I think the interesting thing remains the fact this game is 6-2 for Bayonne. It can very well easily be 21-0 for Marist.
Yeah, those turnovers are very costly. As a matter of fact, as Bayonne right out onto the field, as the kid tried to jump to the sign, he knocked it over, and there was another fumble which won't count in the game at all. But I hope that's not an omen for Bayonne. Marist deservedly is in his ball game, and they should really be ahead. Like you said, it's only 6-2, but it should be 21-0, really. And those turnovers have been very costly. I'm sure Moore had a lot to say in the locker room. Jackie is not a very quiet man. Donnie Ahern probably felt relieved leaving the field 6-2 with some of the poor field position he had at the end. You agree, Jack?
Oh, Bayonne has to consider themselves very lucky. They're very fortunate. They do have a 6-2 lead. As we mentioned, they should be behind. Marist has dominated the action from the standpoint of total offensive yardage, but the turnovers have killed them. They only have 2 points, that coming on a Bayonne mistake. And that is the way we stand right now, 6-2 for Bayonne. I expect an exciting second half of play, and I look for Marist to correct some of those mistakes they've been making and get themselves back in this football game, put some points on the scoreboard themselves.
As we look at the Bayonne cheerleaders from a distance, the thing to watch in this is what changes will both coaches make. Marist, will they come out, stick to their running game, which has been proving effective except for the turnovers, or will more go to a passing game? Ahern is having his problems with his own guys handling the ball. Will he sit on the lead? I doubt it. Wayne?
One thing, though, with Marist, they did throw the ball 5 times in the first half. That's an unusually high amount of times for passing for Marist. But one thing about them I noticed is that Bayonne is sending Pona a lot. They're red doggy number 55. And one thing that Jackie Moore might have on his mind is maybe a little down and in pattern with Scabetta, the tight end, number 42, or maybe even some kind of a pass pattern down the middle with Rochford, because they are leaving that middle a little bit open, especially in close to the line of scrimmage.
I've been watching Scabetta in some of these pass patterns, and he's been pretty well covered, and that's going to be very important. If he breaks open, we could see a long gainer early. I'm expecting more to come out charging at this period. Jack?
All right, Marist will be kicking off. We just had the captains out there before. That was Valente and Munn who were out there for Marist, and for Bayonne, their captains representing for the ceremonial second half gathering was Pete Flynn, 85, and Reggie Smith, number 80. And Smith, who's probably one of the better athletes on the field, has been very quiet in the first half. Bayonne has not thrown a pass, and Reggie Smith, who is probably the best receiver in Bayonne, has not had the chance to prove himself so far here in the first half of play.
One of the reasons Reggie Smith hasn't got the ball is in that second period. I think Marist controlled the ball more than 75% of the time in that period. The turnovers hurt him. They had Bayonne deep twice and failed to capitalize on their position in the field.
All right, deep for Bayonne will be Jeffrey Wilson and Quinones. And kicking off for Marist will be Munn. We thought it would be Trainer, but he is not going to kick off. It looks like it will be, no, it is 83. That's Mickey Berardinelli is kicking off. And it's returned by Quinones.
Quinones has got room.
He's got room to move. He's across midfield.
One man left. He's gone.
He could be gone. It's a Bayonne touchdown. Quinones takes it all the way for Bayonne, and it's now a 12-2 lead for Bayonne High School. Quinones' breakaway speed, his second touchdown of the game. He must have took that one about 70 yards.
In all honesty, this is the most emotion I've seen from the Bayonne team in the last 4 games on this long run back. How far was that run, Wayne? I didn't notice.
That was an 85-yard run back, and again, Bayonne is showing how it can explode potentially, as we talked about in the first half, offensively, and they can explode with their specials. Specialty teams have to play a key in this game.
So the Bayonne Bees now lead it by the count of 12-2. 85-yard run back by Quinones, his second touchdown of the game. The first one came on a 36-yard run from scrimmage, and Bayonne has increased their lead to 10 points.
And they're going for the 2-point play again. These 2 points will be a key. If he gets 14-2, Marist will need 2 scores. 2
points. Try. Matuch rolling left, looking to pass.
He's wide open.
Finds an open receiver. Good for the 2 points. That's better. And Bayonne converts on the 2-point try as Matuch rolling left finds better in the end zone. And Bayonne leads it 14-2.
As Matuch ran to his left, it was sort of a pass option play. He drew the linebackers in, and that left Vetter alone with Wilson in the backfield for the 2-point play. Here's an interesting note. While Marist had the ball most of the second period, plays from scrimmage from Bayonne was 29 plays the first half, and Marist had only 15, even though it seemed like Marist controlled the ball the whole second period.
14-2 is our score. Bayonne capitalizing on the very first play of the second half as Quinones goes 85 yards with the kickoff, his second touchdown of the game. The 2-point conversion try is good. Matuch to Vetter, and Marist finds themselves trailing in this football game by 12 points.
Jack, I'm totally expecting Jackie Moore of Marist to turn this game wide open and go more to a passing game. Let's look for Scabetta and Rochford on a wide open place. 14-2 at 11:47. There's only 13 seconds elapsed in the second period, and Bayonne has scored already.
Smith will be kicking for Bayonne. Back for Marist is Munn and Robinson. The kick is deep. It will be taken by Robinson. He's moving ahead forward to the 30, maybe the 35-yard line. He's dropped by a host of Bayonne tacklers. In on the step that time for Bayonne was Chris Beal. He's a junior fullback, 5'9", 160.
Well, let's see what Jackie Moore has planned in mind. His coaches, who are right in front of us, dictating plays down and watching the flow of traffic on the field, have been calling down plays. If Moore decides to open it up now, he's better get moving. He's got to score quick. Bayonne gets this ball back and scores again, we can say goodbye for this year's game. Right, Wayne?
Yeah, basically the games have been very, very close over the years. There have only been maybe 1 or 2 lopsided games, so I'm looking for Marist to show a little character and to come back.
Well, I think they'll show a lot of character myself.
1st and 10 for Marist on their own 32. They've trailed by 12, 14-2, 11:32 remaining third quarter. Valente takes the handoff straight ahead running Crowley. Maybe 2, maybe 3 yards. And Bayonne is a fired-up club. They know they didn't play all that well in the first half, but they've got the momentum now after that brilliant run by Quinones, and they lead by 12, and the defense is playing sound football.
Something interesting happened on that play in the backfield, which was off Cameron Roachford, and Jeff Wilson started to swing a little bit, but they looked at each other and laughed and says, what the heck?
This is a pitch left side Munn this time. He's in trouble, and he's going to be sacked for a loss. Munn tried to turn the corner on the end around, and he's dropped. He's dropped by number 70. That's DeChara, and number 24, Wayne Cancro. And
as we look at Vinnie Munn then, who's trying to get a break open for a long gainer like Quinones did, I noticed an intensity in the Bayonne defense on the last 2 plays. They're playing like they haven't played all year, really.
3rd and 7. Valente back to pass. He's rolling right. He's going to be sacked. Yes, he is going to be sacked.
That may have intentional grounding. We do.
And they're going to call it maybe intentional grounding. He was going to be sacked by Quinones, who plays both offense and defense, doing it all here today. And Valente just got rid of the football, and they could be called for the intentional grounding.
Someone missed the blocking assignment. It seemed like there were an awful lot of Bayonne bees chasing Valente. I think someone missed the play then, Wayne.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising because Marist offensive line has been holding its blocks very well, but Bayonne just applied tremendous pressure on that play, and really Valente didn't have much of a choice if he didn't want to get dropped for a loss.
Well, Marist is going to have to kick from deep in their own territory.
And Marist continues to make these errors which have plagued them throughout. Really, as we've been stressing before, they've been having a lot of problems making those kind of mistakes, and simply Bayonne has capitalized on the greater deal of them. Now here's the punt. High.
Not too high.
Not too deep. It's fielded, and a fair catch is called for by number 25 of Bayonne. That's Carl Ingram. And it'll be Bayonne football about the midfield stripe.
I made the same mistake you did, Jack. It's Ingraham. I had the same problem early in the year. As the teams change sides with defense and offense, one thing worth noting, both associations, Marist Parents Football and the Bayonne Alumni Association, will be presenting trophies to the outstanding players after the game, and we will announce the winners of these trophies over Cablevision after the game.
10:03 to go, third quarter. Bayonne in command. They have the ball at their own 49, and they lead it 14-2 as Marist does not look sharp so far this morning. Quarterback Matuch straight ahead, maybe 2-3 yards before he stopped.
I'm sure what Ahern and the Bees would like to do at this point, Jack, is to hold on to the ball for a while, get a series of first downs, maybe not score, but give that defense, who played very superbly at the start of this half, a little more rest.
All right, Darrell Rowan, a young sophomore, was in on that play, made the carry for Bayonne. The first time he has checked into the game today. Rowan gets ahead for 3 yards, 2nd and 7.
Darrell is the brother of Jerome Rowan, one of Bayonne's outstanding backfield runners last year.
Line of scrimmage will call it the 48. Matuch straight ahead. Now running right looks to be Cancro, Paul Cancro, and he has himself a Bayonne first down, and we might have had a late hit.
Flag on the play.
Could have been a late hit.
Portella made the tackle on that play. for
And if
Marist.
that is true, Bayonne will get some more yardage on that play. A fine broken field run by Cancro. That was good for the first down anyway, and if it's a late hit on Marist, that could be 15 more yards.
Not to play the same song over and over again, but these mistakes, these penalties, these fumbles, these intercepted passes are really hurting Marist. And if this game stays the way it is, the headline in the Jersey Journal would read what, Wayne?
I don't know. It seems we're back to where we started from as far as mistakes go. One thing you might want to notice is that Bayonne has playing at center, number 59. That's Brian Cicchetti, and Pona is at the left guard.
If that's the way it's going to be, we're going to have a late hit assessed against Marist after Cancro was down. Someone took a shot at him while he was on the ground, and that'll give Bayonne High School another first down deep in Marist territory. Handoff straight ahead. That goes to Vetter, and Vetter moves ahead for maybe 2-3 yards on the play.
It may be a little early, but I certainly don't want to jinx Bobby Matuch. I don't know what the coach has said to him, but on this whole series of plays right now, he looks a lot more confident than he did the first half. He's handling the ball quite well.
Trainer on the hit for Marist. Line of scrimmage, we'll call it the 23, 2nd and 7, 8:40 to go, third quarter, and Bayonne surprisingly leading 14-2. Matuch sends a man in motion, gives the pitch out left side. That's Darrell Rowan, and Rowan busts ahead for good yardage, might have another first down. Darrell looks like he can run with the football, has very quick on his feet, and he bursts ahead for close to a first down.
He looks a little bit faster than Jerome was last year. Question, Wayne. Matuch hasn't thrown the ball today yet, has he?
No, I think Bayonne feels it has had success on the ground. They haven't been dropped for too many losses, and you stay with what goes for you.
True. Ahern said on a pregame show yesterday that they were going to pass a lot. I don't know whether to believe this man or not anymore, Don.
All right, the line of scrimmage is the 13, so Bayonne can get another first down straight ahead. For Bayonne, the carry goes down to about the 10-yard line.
That was an excellent fake by Matuch then. I sort of followed the wrong runner myself as he handed off. Short gain on the play.
Quinones was the ball carrier. The man has done it all for the Bees so far, and he's going to take a rest as he comes to the sideline.
Well, he needs a rest after that 85-yard run. I don't think I could drive my car for 85 yards without stopping.
2nd and 7, the ball on the 10. Matuch calling signal.
Looked like Tony Trainer jumped offside then, or was he pulled offside? We'll see.
Either Trainer or Glokowski, either one.
Illegal procedure, Marist.
And it is going to be a 5-yard penalty assessed against the Royal Knights of Marist, and another Marist mistake will cost them, as that ball will be spotted now on the 5-yard line. Bayonne looks to increase their lead to possibly 20-2.
Timeout, Marist. On that last play, after the ball was snapped and they ran through the line with that offside, I watched Greg Quill, number 52 for Marist. He's quite an intensive player. He was really upset. He was really mad. There's the Marist players trying to figure out what can they do to eliminate these costly turnovers and mistakes they've been making.
So Coach Don Ahern has his Bees in a huddle discussing what strategy they might use here. They have a 2nd and 2 at the 5-yard line. They can get another first down before they would have to score the touchdown. The ball is on the 5. They would need to get to the 3, possibly to score another touchdown. 7:29 to go, third quarter.
There's plenty of time left for Marist to regroup. But I think what's important right now is if Marist could come up with one of those old Green Bay, New York Giant goal line stands, it could turn this game around as we look at the colorful Marist cheerleaders dressed in their blue and yellow uniforms. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm sitting up here in the booth and I'm looking at those girls with no stockings on. They must be freezing down here. But I guess it's nice to be young. It's a shame they wasted on kids, though.
Are almost set for action. As we said, 7:29 to go, third quarter.
Key play, 2nd and about 3.
All right, Matuch will take the snap. 3 runners in the backfield. Gives it to the third man through. That's Cancro, and Cancro busts down.
He's in.
He's in. Touchdown.
Paul Cancro Jr. has just made Paul Cancro Sr. very happy. What a better way to give a father a Thanksgiving Day present than to score a touchdown against Marist. And Wayne, it's 20-2. I'm surprised at this game.
One of the most surprising things, I think, is the turnabout in terms of number of plays in the second half. That touchdown drive took 6 plays, and altogether so far in the second half, Bayonne has run more plays than Marist, 6-2.
Bayonne will be trying a 2-point play again. Take it, Jack.
All right, it'll be Matouch. He goes back. He gives straight ahead now. No, it's a fake. End around. Cancro once again. And he's in. So he scores the touchdown, and then he gets the conversion as they fake the Quinones, and they gave it to Cancro, and Marist now trails 22-2. Very surprising.
Jack, it's amazing the difference in Matouch in this second half. He looks like a completely different new ball player from that jittery first half he had. And, you know, the Younks have been taking some bad raps for the past 2 weeks because of the performances against Westfield, North Bergen. But he looks like a brand new ball player out there. And we have to give the youngster a lot of credit.
22-2. Very surprising, to say
Wayne?
the least.
One thing I think that's really bad for Marist at this particular point, Jackie Moore has to be very concerned. Marist, I'm sure, did not want to give up these touchdowns early in the second half. If Marist had any concern, it was that Bayonne might eventually wear them out as the game progressed and just wear them down. And now they have 2 things to worry about, the score and not being run down. So it is going to be a tough second half for Marist unless they do regroup.
Well, one thing, with Bayonne's record of 4-4, this game is important because a win will give them a over 500 average for the year. A loss drops them under 500, and no one likes to say you had a losing season with a 4-5 record. Here we go.
All right, Robinson and Munn will await the kick from Smith, and it will be Munn. Munn drives ahead through the 30-35, and he's finally brought down by number 26 of Bayonne. That's Chris Beal, who made the hit on the last play on the special teams. Does a fine job for Bayonne. And the line of scrimmage will be the 36-yard line of Marist.
As we look at Vinnie Munn coming back to the huddle, the youngster's playing his heart out, and with a few more breaks and less turnovers by Marist, Munn would really be the outstanding player of the game. As we look at the Bayonne cheerleaders, I don't know, the Bayonne cheerleaders don't look as cold as the Marist cheerleaders did then. What happened on this one?
They might have had another late hit. Bayonne special teams.
Piling on Bayonne is the call.
That's what they're going to call it. So the ball will be pushed ahead across the midfield stripe. So Marist will have an excellent field position. They've got to get back in this game. They trail by 3 touchdowns, and they have it at the Bayonne 49.
Less than 7:15 to play in the third period.
And Valente brings them up to the line. Handoff right up the middle. That's Crowley. Crowley drives ahead for maybe 3 yards before he's brought down. I think Marist is going to have to start throwing the football.
Definitely. One thing I've noticed today, Wayne, is we haven't heard too much about Pete Blinn on offense or defensive line, and the youngsters are he's quite talented.
Well, I think it's a tribute to the job that Kevin Christie is playing at center. But again, I have to give credit to the Bayonne defensive line. They are tough, and they may wear Marist down before this game is over.
6:42 left to play, 22-2 Bayonne favored.
All right, 2nd and 7 for Marist. Valente's back to pass, has plenty of time, looking for receiver. He finds one, and Munn drops the football. Munn all alone at the Bayonne 40, drops the football. Valente's pass was right on the money, but Vinnie Munn could not hold on to it.
What might have happened on that play, Munn was running away from the sun. When he turned around, the sun could have been in his eyes to receive that football because it was thrown rather low, and the sun this time of year is in a low position. Vinnie Munn usually holds on to that ball when he gets it.
All right, so Munn, who's had a fine game, drops that pass. That pass would have been good for a first down. Instead, Marist will have it 3rd and 7 at the Bayonne 46. Valente back to Munn this time, and Munn didn't fool anybody on the keeper draw. And he is knocked down by Steve Tompkins, and Tompkins read the play beautifully. It was a sort of a fake handoff type draw. Munn took the football, maybe got 2 yards, and that'll bring up 4th down and 5 for Marist High School.
As we watch Marist send in their kicking team, it's well to know the change in attitude on the Bayonne defensive front line. They've been much maligned earlier this year and later this year, but the second half they look like a brand new team.
Marist drops back into punt formation. The snap is a little bit wide to the right, And it's a good kick, decent kick, fielded by 23 Wilson, and Wilson is brought down immediately. No return. He's smacked down at about the 21-yard line of Bayonne, where they will put it in play with 5:42 to go, third quarter. Bayonne with the football and a 20-point lead.
Again, I'm beginning to wonder how much that sun is beginning to affect Bayonne's on that play. When Wilson looked right up into the sun to catch that ball, he seemed to have a problem also handling it. 5:40 left to play in the third period, 22-2 Bayonne favor.
Important for Marist right here to stop any potential drive by Bayonne. They must get the football back. They trail by 3 touchdowns, and we only have 5:15 to go in the third quarter. Handoff Cancro. Cancro looking ahead for yardage, gets decent yardage up near the 25-yard line before he's brought down by number 80 for Marist. That's Lotwis. So we'll have a second down play here for Bayonne as they look to hold on to the football.
As we look at the Cablevision sign on the scoreboard, you people yet who don't have all the extra options on a cable, call up Cablevision 436-2500 and discuss the extra options you can get on your cable set right now.
Cancro gets 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 4 at Quinones. And Quinones maybe for a couple.
Wayne?
Now is the time when fans might want to start watching that Bayonne offensive line. Now is the time when Bayonne can probably take advantage and see how worn Marist's defensive line might be, because Bayonne is a physical team. Marist is not very deep on the defensive line, and right now it looks like Bayonne's backs are getting through that front wall.
We look at the Marist coaching staff, and they got a lot to be concerned about. Their team has not looked all that well today with those turnovers, and we keep saying that, but that's the truth. It's honest sports broadcasting.
All right, look for probably Bayonne to play ball control here. They did something Marist did not want to let them do, and that's get a first down. Handoff Cancro going nowhere, maybe loses a couple. Play read beautifully by Trainer in there again. Defensive co-captain read the play and stopped Cancro for a loss.
What happened on that play was Matucci was expecting Cancro to be there a little early. He had a sort of a fake handoff to the guy he was handing the ball to, which is unusual. Marist read the play well.
2nd and 10 now for Bayonne at their own 25.
Time running out is becoming a factor. 3:46 left to play.
And Matucci's done a fine job here in the second half. Hands the ball right up the middle. Cancro straight ahead running.
You'll notice
he drags a few runners with him, so he picks up maybe a few yards, maybe 5.
as the game progresses, you'll notice the hitting's getting harder and harder and the tempers are getting shorter and shorter. I just hope we don't have a little explosion here. We look at Paul Cancro Jr. there, who's certainly along with Quinones, 2 of the stars of this game. Wayne, it's going to be a heck of a time picking an MVP for this game.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I like Munn, and again, Buchanti has done a nice job for Marist. Bayonne's got a lot of stars at this point.
The Marist trophies we were just looking at on the table, they'll be giving away 3. Most valuable player, outstanding player, and lineman of the day.
3rd and 8.
2:55 left to play, third period.
Ball on the 31. Bayonne would like to get a first down here and keep that football. Pitch out left side. Quinones looking for running room and doesn't get it. And Marist defense holds. And Bayonne will have to be forced to punt the football, but no. They say Quinones dropped the ball and Marist recovers.
You couldn't see the ball being dropped too well on that play with the crowd in there. But now, is this the break Marist is going to finally take advantage of as we look at the scoreboard? 2:40 left to play. It's still 22-2 as we look at the largest crowd of the year in Bayonne sports. I'd say anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 people. All right, let's see if Marist can capitalize.
All right. Valente will bring them up. They need to score here. It's important that they do. They trail by 3 touchdowns. Crowley up the middle, maybe 2-3 yards.
I don't know, Jack, I'm still sort of waiting for Marist to open up. They're running out of time, and if they keep hitting the center of the line, they may get 3, 4, or 5 yards of the clip, but they need to score fast. If that score can change, say, to 22-10 going into the third period, they still got a shot at. As we look at number 52, Greg Quill. I wonder what that kid eats for breakfast, my God.
Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And that first down play only got Marist a yard. They might have to start throwing the ball. Baker drives ahead maybe 4 yards, breaks a tackle at the line, spins around, and goes down to about, let's call it the 25-yard line for Marist to the Bayonne 25. Only a minute 30 to go. I look for Marist to start having to throw the football.
It's interesting with Baker. He's only a sophomore, but I'll take that size. He's 6'1", 185. He's really got a great build for a fullback.
Should be an interesting year next year for Marist and Bayonne.
This is a big play, Mike. 3rd and 5.
Still
pitch right side, Munn. Munn driving ahead, looking for the first down marker. He might not have gotten it.
That's going to be close, Jack.
I don't think he got it. He might have been driven out.
I don't think so either.
I'm sure Marist will go for it if he is short. But I think he might be just a bit short, depending on when the referee spotted the football.
They're going to. Wait, now you surprised Marist isn't passing?
Well, not really, because they can be a very patient team. I think that they might start passing in the 4th quarter if they have to, with about 8 minutes left. You might start seeing the ball going up in the air then.
He's got about 1.5 yards to go for the first down.
All right, it'll be 4th and about 1, and you know Marist has to go for it.
Yeah.
Only a minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
In the background, there's the McCabe ambulance, always on duty to hope. And let's hope that they don't have to warm up their engine to get anybody off the field in an ambulance today. Key play.
All right, Valente. Oh, another mistake.
Hurts. And Vinnie Munn.
Munn did not know the snap count and moved ahead. It looked like the way Munn was moving that it was probably going to be a Valente on the keep. But now Marist finds himself, instead of 4th and 1, 4th and 6, and another mistake by Marist High School.
It's almost unbelievable. I don't know if the kids are intense or Bergen Catholic took too much out of them in last Saturday's game. But this is not the Marist team that we've seen all year, definitely.
Well, they still have to go for it. This deep in Bayonne territory at about the 31.
He's almost got to go to the air now. Nope.
Nope, he's going to pitch it left side. It falls on the ground, and Munn's going to have to fall on it, and Bayonne will take over. Valente's pitch to the left side, intended for Munn on the sweeper on the left side. The pitch was low and on the ground, and Munn had no choice except to fall on the football, and Bayonne will take over.
And it sounds like an old story again, but another Marist turnover is hurting them so much that I think the Bees are starting to feel sorry for them, and that's just true sports broadcasting. They have not looked good the entire second half, and we thought they would come out and explode. We still have 1 minute and 4 seconds left to play, and a whole quarter. They're running out of time, however. Jack?
All right, we are under a minute right now. Bayonne with the football on their own 37, we'll call it, 1st and 10. Matuch gives to 34.
Fumble!
Fumble, that's Rowan. Rowan fumbles the football. We'll have to see who has it. Rowan took the handoff from Matuch and fumbled the football, but they're going to say that Bayonne recovered. And they're going to say that Rowan got his own fumble back.
And it's interesting, on that particular play, you saw Pona back at center for Bayonne. It seems that he's playing back at center, and you have Cicchetti at guard. And for some reason, when Russell's snapping the ball, he can't seem to get too much luck with the guys behind him.
As we look at Bayonne in the huddle there, about 15 seconds left to play in the 3rd period. It's still 22-2, Bayonne over Marist.
Bayonne might sit on this one. We might have seen our last play of the quarter. 5 seconds to go. We might not get another play. And that'll do it. That is the end of the 3rd quarter of football. A very good quarter for Bayonne as they outscore Marist by the count of 16-0 in that 3rd quarter. So that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Bayonne 22, Marist 2. We'll be back in just a bit. Bayonne leads at 22-2. We've completed 3 quarters of play. Jack O'Leary, Mike Bodell, and Wayne Witkowski. And guys, it's been a real exciting 3 quarters of football. 3 surprising quarters so far. Marist, the favorite, finds himself trailing by 20 points. Mike, you want to say something quickly before we start?
I was just going to announce the seniors playing their last game. We'll get it to the next play, Jack.
All right, Matuch. Hands off to Quinones. It's a fake to Cancro. Cancro busting ahead 5 yards, and there's a flag on the play. Excellent fake on the play. We thought it was going to Quinones, but he pitched it right side to Cancro, and he fooled the Marist squad as well. But there is a flag on the play.
Matuch is really putting it together this last half. His ball handling and his deception is quite good. And he seems to have a lot more confidence out there now. Penalties against Bayonne.
So Marist gets a break, one of the few they've had so far.
Some of the seniors playing their last game for Bayonne this year are Paul Cancro Jr., Matuch, Viverka, Vetta, Edwards, Quinones, Cicchetti, Mastowski, Smith, Blinn, and only to name a few. There are many others. For Marist, playing their last game as seniors on a starting team, as we look at Jackie Moore and his coaches giving signals. The seniors are Valente, Munn, Crowley, Scavetta, Christie, Glogowski, Trainer, Latwis, Rochford, only to name a few.
All right, it'll be 2nd and 25 for the Bees after that 15-yard penalty. And just about 11:30 to go in the football game. Bayonne leads it 22-2. Matuch looking for receiver, flinging up a long one, and he's got it. That's Carl Ingraham, and he's going to score a touchdown. About a 70-yard touchdown play. Matuch throwing the ball to Ingraham, who is a junior, 5'11", 170 pounds. He's a reserve quarterback lined up in the flanker position that time, and he scored himself a touchdown on that long bomb. Nice pass by Matuch.
The crowd's getting ecstatic over this, but Ingraham had about 3 or 4 steps on his defender, and Matuch's first pass of the day was right on the money.
One strange thing, too, is that Al Robinson usually does not get beat too often in the secondary. This is one of the rare times where the pass was beyond him and there was no chance for him to make a play at all. Great pass to Ingraham.
So Ingraham, who is the reserve quarterback, he's the backup to Matuch on this Bayonne team, and he scores himself a touchdown on the long bomb thrown by Matuch. And Bayonne has opened it now to a 28-2 lead. They'll probably go for 2 points once again, and this one, with 11:20 could go, could ice it.
I have a strong feeling, and it's not second-guessing anyone. I think the game has been iced. Marist has not played well the second half. Those turnovers are killing me. Marist is taking a timeout, as Donnie Ahern will be running into your picture in a few seconds from the right-hand part of your screen. I'm beginning to think he may wish the season was just starting today, Wayne. You have any comments on this, Wayne?
Actually, I think this is one of the stronger games Bayonne has played at this particular point in the season. They look very, very sharp in the second half, but it's interesting that Coach Ahern has juggled his centers. He's gone from Pona to Cicchetti and back to Pona. I'd be interested after the game to see why he made that switch. It seems when Cicchetti did snap the ball in the second half, for some reason the offense seemed to gel a little bit more up front too.
While we have a timeout here, I would like to give some special thanks to a lot of people who helped us so much with our cable cast. To Mickey Okel and his ground crew here at the stadium, getting in beautiful shape. The Bayonne Police Department, naturally. Paul Cancro and Bob Zawistowski's athletic directors of both schools as we look at the Marist coaching staff again. The principals of the school, the Reverend Stephen Martin and Dr. Michael Wanko of Bayonne. Don Ahern and Jackie Moore, the 2 coaches, and both coaching staffs who were tremendous in the assistance they gave us. Yeah, there's the McCabe ambulance. McCabe ambulance is on the right-hand side of our screen, and they're here at every home football game for Bayonne or Marist. And let's hope, like I said earlier, they don't have to even start the engine. We don't want anybody hurt.
All right, Bayonne will go for the 2-point conversion. Matuch rolling right.
He's got him. Ooh.
And he overthrows Quinones. Quinones was wide open.
Yeah, I was going to say that myself.
But simply Matuch hurried the pass just a bit, and that away will stand. We'll stand at 28-2 in favor of Bayonne.
Well, Wayne, I'm totally surprised at the score. I think you are too. You predicted a Bayonne victory, but not by this.
Because Bayonne can score 6 points in a hurry when they have to.
And that they have done so far. They've gotten the big plays. They've had a touchdown bomb. They've had a 35-yard run from scrimmage for a score. And they've had that 85-yard kickoff run by Quinones. And Bayonne has put themselves 28 points on the scoreboard. Marist only points coming on that snap over the punter's head going through the end zone for their 2 points. That was in the second quarter. And that's the way we stand, 28-2 for the Bees.
Reggie Smith kicking off.
Reggie Smith will kick off from the 40-yard line once again. Robinson and Munn are back for Marist. This will be Robinson. Driving ahead, there's a flag on the play.
I think we'll see a Marist clip on number 42.
Crosses the 30-yard line. but there is a flag on the play. And we'll see what it is.
I think Dom Scabetta is guilty of a clip then. The referee pointed right at him. Just let me make one comment. You know, when you're ahead 28-2, things look rosy and you're very happy, and when you're down by that score, you look kind of glum. Both coaches are very good friends, and after the game, they're going to shake hands. And I know Don Ahern's wife, Arlene, is having a turkey prepared. Now, for some reason, I feel Ahern's turkey is going to taste better than Coach Jackie Moore's.
All right, so instead of starting from their 30, Marist will put it in play at the 15. 11 minutes to go in the game, and Marist trails by 26 points.
He's got to go to the air. He's got to.
Valenti puts it up, caught by Munn, and he's out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. And temper's starting to flare a little bit on the sideline. Munn did not like the way he was dragged out of bounds there.
Vinnie Munn plays with an intensity you'll see in very few high school football players. After the game is over, he's going to feel like, gee, I shouldn't have exploded. I shouldn't have lost my temper. But right now, he feels bad. His team's down 28-2. He's trying to generate something. If it's going to take a little fisticuffs to excite his guys, he's the type of guy that'll do it.
All right, he got 6 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 4, and Marist just about has to put it in the air on every play. Valenti back to pass. She runs out of the pocket now. He's going to have to keep, and he's knocked down by Quinones. Good stick by Quinones on the play.
There was excellent pass covers by Bayonne secondary. There was nobody open, and there was a little opening for Valenti to run through, but it closed up rather quickly. The Bayonne linebackers are having an exceptional day.
But it was good for the first down on the play. He did get 4 yards. That was necessary. He's trying to go deep for a potential pass completion, and we have an injured B on the field.
Pete Blinn, number 85, is limping off the field. There you see him right now. And the gentleman on his right is Mr. Chappell, who handles all the injuries on the Bayonne team and does an excellent job.
Blinn is a senior co-captain for this Bayonne squad, and let's hope he's all right. 1st and 10, Marist. Here's a little fake end around play.
Well, he's got a lot of room.
And he's got maybe 15 yards on the play. Good running, open field running by 29. That's Robinson. And Robinson took that end around fake play, and he took it up for about 15 yards up to the Marist 39-yard line. Another Marist first down. And time is a factor here. They must score and score quickly with 10.5 to go in the game.
Tony Traynor, who's playing a whale of a game on defense, is playing offense right now. He was a little slow in getting off the ground then. Wide open
pass, caught at almost the midfield stripe. That's Rockford.
That's close to the first down.
Rockford comes up with a 2nd reception on the day. He's another senior from Marist. And we'll see where they spot. They might be spotting it just a bit short.
Bob DeCharry has replaced Peter Blinn at middle guard for Bayonne. And Bob DeCharry, remember Mongo. You're going to hear a lot about this kid in the next 2 years. I like Derek Baker, who's just coming into the game from Marist. He sort of surprised me. I knew the kid had talent, the youngster had talent. But he's sort of coming into his own this game, even though they're down 26 points. And I'm sure he'll remember this game for next year's game, Wayne.
All right, 2nd and less than a yard for Marist. Under 10 minutes to go. Valenti will just keep it himself, and that's good for the first down. That was he just did that to get 3 more attempts at throwing the football, I'm sure.
Time is so important now with 9:56 left to play. In the last period, it's 28-2, Bayonne over Marist.
Marist has the ball.
And Marist has got the first down.
And they'll call the line of scrimmage to Bayonne 48.
Baker out, Crowley back in for Marist.
This Marist drive started at the 15, and they're now into Bayonne territory at the 48.
Oh, hey.
And this is Crowley. Crowley driving forward. Maybe 6-7 yards. But those running the football eats up time on your clock, and when you trail by 26 and only 9:20 to go, I think you just have to throw it on every play.
We just had John Crowley, who's playing a great game as he leaves now and Baker comes in. Crowley is one of these all-around type of ball players. He does an excellent job. You don't know he's in there until the game is over and you view the movies of the game.
So they gave Crowley 8 yards on the play, 2nd and 2. Here's a pitch back to Munn. Munn looking for yardage, and he's met by a host of Bayonne defenders, and he's going to lose yardage. Pitch out right side to Munn, and he is met by a bunch of Bayonne players. That's 13 Cancro, 21 is Vetter. They all came up to make the stop. Good pursuit by Bayonne.
Munn didn't have much of a chance on that run around his right end. There were 3 Bayonne defenders waiting for him almost at the line. I think he lost a yard on that play, Jack.
He might very well have, maybe a few yards. The 3rd and about 5. Clock continues to run. It now shows 8:20 to go in the football game. Marist again, end around. Robinson, misdirection. Robinson cuts through. He has the first down.
Marist uses that Delaware wing T, which is there's a flag dropped, a late flag. I'm pretty sure it's going to be against Marist. I don't know what it is. But Marist uses that Delaware wing T, which is designed as a misdirection offense. It's designed to confuse the opposition, but so far they haven't done much of it. It's against Marist.
Looks to be some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct call against Marist High School. I believe it's going to be on Schibetta. He might have said something to the referee.
No, it is against. Whether I believe this or not, it looked like the official was running in the wrong direction.
I think he didn't realize which way he was going. I was going to say. I think it might have been an unsportsmanlike call against number 42, Schibetta. He might have said something to the referee.
Another flag.
And we're going to have another one.
Again, the Marist players must be saying something in the heat of battle that this official doesn't like. And I think Marist tempers are getting out of hand.
So we're going to have double unsportsmanlike penalty calls against Marist. That'll put them all the way back to the 35-yard line. And that's really uncalled for. When you trail like this, you want to score as quickly and as often as possible. And to have something like this, a loss of 30 yards called against you.
Let me add one thing, though. I think it's important for the official to take hold of this game. He should call a timeout, huddle the Marist players together and say, look, you're losing. I know you feel bad. You're getting hit hard. Let's calm down, fellas. Now, right now, the 1st-yard line marker's on 24th Street, and the ball is going to be handled with Jackie Moore talking to the officials right now. The ball's probably in Jersey City. They got about 14 miles to go for first down. Now, Moore very wisely is coming out talking to his players. They're sort of losing control.
1st and 40, not your ideal situation to start any drive.
As you see Tommy Lee, the defensive coach for Bayonne, coming into the picture, I'm sure he's very proud of his athletes today. They've been sparkling on defense. Really tremendous. Wayne, you want to say something?
One of the keys, I think, to Bayonne's success in the second half is that they've cut down Marist's outside game. They've taken away the perimeter offense, and Marist has had to go up the gut. Now, the last few plays, Bayonne has changed its middle guard about 2 or 3 different times. Now they have a fellow by the name of Charles Gingles playing middle guard the last couple of downs, and he's only 5'7" and about 175. He's doing a really tough job out there.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the Marist cheerleaders. Oh, my God. That is a dangerous thing, but they do it so beautifully.
8:14 to go in the football game. Marist trailing 28-2, 1st and 40 at about their own 35-yard line. And we're about ready to pick up the action once again. Valente back to pass, looking for a receiver, going downfield long, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Munn. Munn ran a sort of crossing pattern there, and the ball was just simply overthrown. And Valente will have to try it again, a 2nd and 40 situation coming up.
One thing we haven't hit upon is the play of Mr. Fulton on the defensive line for Bayonne. Number 61, he's having one whale of a football game. And it's one of those things where a lineman, if you don't really watch the game film, so you don't zero on the line, you don't really know what they're doing. Now tomorrow, when the coaches look at the game, Mr. Fulton's game will show up tremendously.
8:09 to go. Another misdirection play, and it's Robinson. And Reggie Smith comes up and almost tears his head off, and they might get him for a face mask. Reggie Smith just came up on that little misdirection end around, and he almost took Robinson's head off. And that's what they're going to get him. They're going to get him for the face mask.
Mike Latwis, number 80, will be on your screen in a few seconds. We just had him there for a moment as that penalty is marched off against Bayonne. The Marist players are down. They're dejected. There's 8:04 left to play. It's going to take Clark Kent to bring this Marist team back into the ball game. But this still doesn't take away the year Marist had. Really, they had a tremendous year. I can't judge them by this one game.
Valente finds the receiver. It's Baker. Baker across the midfield stripe into Bayonne territory before he's dropped by Cancro.
Again, Paul Cancro Jr. is making his daddy very, very proud of him. I don't know if the Cancros are going to have turkey or lasagna for dinner today, but I'm sure Paul Jr. is going to get an extra portion.
7:25 to go in the football game.
There's part of the crowd. They're sort of quiet now. That must be the Marist section. I don't mean to make fun out of Marist. I was rooting for them all year, and I'm rooting for them today. I just wish they would do something now.
Valente looking for receiver, and the ball is batted down. The intended pass to Crowley, but he had two Bayonne defenders in his face, Quinones and DiChiara.
That's DiChiario.
DiChiario, he's just a young sophomore, and he's in there on every play.
The DiChiario family probably will be having lasagna and spaghetti for Thanksgiving Day dinner, too. I think I'm invited up, but I'm not sure. One thing I weren't mentioning, Quinones, who blocked that pass quite well, is sparkling on defense as well as offense. Again, we don't get a chance to cover these defensive plays that well because we're following the football.
4th and 23 yards to go, and they're in punt formation.
Long count, trying to draw them offside.
Berardinelli will punt, and there it
Nice
goes.
kick.
It's going to be Jeffrey Wilson will field it. Wilson cutting around, and he's swamped. Good hit by 52 of Marist. That's Quill. Quill makes the nice hit, and Bayonne will recover. I'll just suppose now they'll try to take this last 7 minutes and 1 second left to play and just keep the football on the ground, eat up that clock. They're in the driver's seat, commanding 28-2 lead, and they'll just try to sit on this one and bring home another victory on Thanksgiving morning. It would be their 22nd in the last 24 times.
The hitting is still intense out there. Marist doesn't realize they're down by 26 points, and they're still playing their hearts out. Bayonne is going to more or less second-string people on the line a little bit. Matouch is still in the quarterback. As we looked at the Marist players, they're hanging their heads a little low, but they're nothing to be ashamed of.
Matouch, hands off. Marist around there tackling the football, trying to get it back. Cancro was the runner on the play. Like we said, I'm sure Bayonne will just try to keep the football on the ground, eat up as much of the clock as they possibly can. Clock now shows 6:10 to go in the game. And Marist down by 26 points. Not many people would have figured it. Marist came into the game as the favorite with a 7-2 record against Bayonne. Struggling on the season at 4-4. But Bayonne probably will wind up at 5-4, and Marist will probably finish up at 7-3. Under 6 minutes to go. And
I'm sure it's going to be a delay game penalty.
Bayonne using that time might have used too much just a bit there.
Actually, that's not going to hurt them too much. It's still second, and now they're going to have 12 to go. They're sitting on this lead, and I'm sure Ahern is not going to want to run up a score to sort of rub it into Marist. Him and Moore are very close friends. Ahern has a lot of respect for the Marist team. Moore certainly respects the Bayonne team. I know on a pregame show last night, when I told Moore Marist was the favorite, he says, "Who said that?" Me. And he laughed at me. He says, "In a game such as this, with a rivalry, there are no favorites." Timeout Bayonne.
We have another referee's whistle. And this last quarter It's taken a lot of time to play. Still 5:25 to go. And Bayonne is signaling for a timeout as Coach Ahern is going out there to talk to his players.
As Ahern is walking to your picture now as we switch to the Marist team, Wayne, we were talking earlier today about the caliber of Hudson County football. You said something about 5 teams. Would you talk about that a second, please?
Yeah, I think there was nothing more satisfying for me in my years at the Jersey Journal to see 5 Hudson County teams make the state tournament. It was just a great year. We've had some really fantastic things happen. Bayonne last year in the state tournament couldn't have been any more exciting to go into sudden death overtime against Teaneck and then to be in the state finals. North Bergen winning the championship back in '78. There have been a lot of great things, but amid all the great things, this has to be the finest year because it's not every year when any county can boast of 5 teams making the state tournament and a 6th one, I'm speaking of Snyder now, almost making it, just being eliminated on the last day because of that Northern Highlands controversy, which was really an unfortunate thing for Hudson County football.
You know, it's worth mentioning the fact, you know, Marist is on the short end of the score, but I want the viewing audience to realize that Scabata, Trainer, Portella, Christie, Glogowski, Roachford, Robinson, Crowley, Vinnie Munn, John Valenti, Latwis, and all them guys have a lot to be proud of a fine year. Jack?
Matuch is going for the bomb now. That's kind of unusual to figure. Matuch went for another one to Vetter. He overthrew him. But something that we didn't expect to happen. We just thought that Bayonne would try to run out the clock, and Bayonne try to get more points that time.
I think Mr. Ahern tried a little surprise then, probably figuring Moore was going to figure he was going to stay on the ground, and he saw an opportunity to get a long gain. He's deep in his own territory. It really didn't hurt anyone. But there's Matuch's ability to throw the ball long. It was a beautiful pass, except what happened. He missed the guy by about 20 yards. Vetter must have been hit at the line of scrimmage.
5:20 to go in the football game, and it's 3rd down for Bayonne. A little end-around try here now. This is Carl Ingraham, who scored on that touchdown bomb, and he
just might go. He's gone.
He could have himself another one. He almost stepped out of bounds there, and he's going to be in for another touchdown. Another Bayonne touchdown.
I don't think it's going to count. I don't think it's going to count. I don't think it's counting. They're calling it back. Carl Ingraham, who doesn't score many points, we got a penalty. Let's hold on a second.
A penalty on the play, but nevertheless, a fine run on the end around by Ingraham, who scored on that touchdown bomb earlier in the game.
I think it's a penalty against the Bees.
And Bayonne is going to be called for a penalty.
Yeah, this is a tough break for Bayonne. I think they've only had maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns called back all year. And Ingraham, of course, had a great game. I believe it was against St. Peter's where he scored 2 touchdowns in that particular game earlier in the year. So I'm sure he's looking for a big game today, and it's really a tough break for Carl.
I think what they're going to do here is say that it was not a penalty. He just stepped out at the 50. I believe that's what they're going to call.
I think he was hit there, and he sidestepped someone. He could have. I don't know. I didn't see. The referee didn't signal anything.
Nevertheless, it's no touchdown. The run is nullified, and Bayonne keeps possession at the 50.
Well, one thing for sure, when Mr. Carl Ingraham watches that play on television, he had the camera all to himself. He looked beautiful and graceful. Carl, tremendous run. Too bad.
Well, he does have 1 touchdown to celebrate on the long pass bomb. He does have that much.
Well, Jack, Wayne, we're down about 4:35 left to play. Certainly the game has been a surprise. I expected Marist to put on a better showing. Again, nothing to be ashamed of. Bayonne sort of put it all together for today.
Matuch, probably a busted play, was looking for Quinones to take the handoff, and he just ran by without accepting the football, and Matuch had a full on it. And the time continues to tick away on the Marist Ball Club. Down to 4 minutes to go in the game. Marist trails by 26, and it was a first half of mistakes. Excuse me, Mike. A first half of mistakes, and the second half just simply Bayonne just sticking it to Marist.
Fans are starting to leave a little bit now, Jack. That's an indication they think it's over.
It's going to be a keeper. New quarterback in the game, Cancro.
Paul Cancro was the backup to Bobby Matucci all year, and Paulie, a strong running back, does an acceptable job at quarterback. He can't throw with the authority that Matucci had.
So Cancro came into quarterback for just that one play and kept it himself. Didn't gain any yardage, but doesn't really matter here. We're almost at the 3-minute mark, and Bayonne will punt the football from midfield.
This is Bayonne's second attempt at a kick, and they finally make a connection.
And the
Nice
punt
kick.
gets away. It's a decent kick. It'll be fielded by Munn. Munn looking around, tries to avoid a tackler. He does, but couldn't avoid the second one as Jeffrey Wilson comes up to make the stop at about the 30-yard line.
Well, I think Don Ahern will start putting in some of his irregulars here as we look at Vinnie Munn, who's played one whale of a football game. And right now, Vinnie still looks like he's tired. I still want to play. I'll give you all I got. But we don't have it today, gentlemen.
Clock continues to run, and Marist is playing out the string of a lopsided 28-2 score, as they will try to put at least one more to get their initial touchdown, I should say, on the scoreboard. They've only gotten on the board by that safety in the first half. Valente over the middle of the road. He got him. Avoids one tackler and finally brought down by Wayne Cancro, younger brother of Paul Cancro. 2:30 to go in the football game.
You know, no matter what way you look at it, the Cancros are all over the field as we look at Paul Roachford there. Cancros are having both of them having a great game.
Wayne is a sophomore. He's a 5'10", 165-pound fullback playing defense now. Valente's back to pass, and he's going to be sacked. He can't find a receiver. Gets away from one man, still driving forward. Give him credit. And finally, Ron Rue, I should say, brings him down, and you got to give him a lot of credit. He slipped out of the grasp of two tacklers before the last one finally got him.
I think there we see an example of Valente's quickness, and he is the starting third baseman for the baseball team. He showed his speed there.
1:40 to go in the game. Valente, this is Munn. He gives to Munn, and Munn drives across midfield.
He's going to go. He's going to go.
He's going to break away. He might score. He gets around one. Did he step out?
I couldn't see it. Oh, he's down at the 1.
And he's out of bounds. He did step out.
Vinnie Munn broke one loose. And here's to a courageous athlete, Vinnie Munn, who broke it open then, should have had a touchdown, stepped out at about the 1 or 2 yard line. 1:31 left to play. Marist is in scoring position.
This drive strictly for pride by the part of Marist. They know they're out of the game. They trail terribly by the count of 28-2. Only 1:31 to go. They'd like to get a touchdown on the scoreboard just to get at least that.
It's a little surprising with Vinnie Munn in the second half. Up to that point, he had minus 18 yards rushing. He was really held down the second half before he broke that one.
It's hard to believe he had a negative feature with the running he's been doing.
Marist to try to take it in. And this is Munn once again. Did he get in? No signal yet. Wait for him to untangle, and it is a touchdown.
Vinnie Munn. Poetic justice. Vinnie Munn scores a touchdown.
It is a Marist touchdown, so with 1:23 left in the football game, Marist finally scores a touchdown.
That was the first time I've seen a touchdown delayed that long, Jack.
Well, there was a big pile down around that goal line, and the referee had a spot exactly where Munn had touched the playing surface. But it is a touchdown, so Munn, who's had a really tough day, excellent first half. He did have minus 18 yards in the second half before that big long run. He scores one to get Marist their first touchdown of the game.
All right, they're going to go for the 2-point play.
Valente looking over. He's got it. Looks like Schibetta. And it is. The big senior, 6'2", 200-pound end. He gets the conversion, and it's now a 28-10 game.
The Bayonne Knights of Columbus on 30th and Avenue C in Bayonne is awarding watches to the outstanding defensive players on both teams. For Bayonne, number 28, Scott Edwards. for Marist, number 52, Greg Quill. Congratulations, gentlemen. As we look at the score saying 28-10 in favor of Bayonne over Marist, we have about 1 minute 23 seconds left to play. Marist is walking back. They should feel a little happier now, but there's not much time left for anything in this game.
Just 1:23 to go before Bayonne can go home and start digging in on their dinner, because they have really done a really excellent job with that Marist club. Marist coming in as the favorite, as we've been stressing, the first time in a long time that Marist can be labeled a favorite in this football game, but it's just not to be as Bayonne continues their domination in the series. They've played 24 times now, and Marist has won only twice.
The Bayonne Alumni Association has just announced the winners of their trophies. The most valuable player, and justifiably so, Eduardo Eddie Quinones of Bayonne, number 33, and the defensive star, Charlie Fulton, a total surprise, played a whale of a ball game, number 61. Congratulations to both players.
All right, we're waiting for the kickoff. This time it will be Schibetta. They're going to try the onside kick. It's fielded by Bayonne, and will be Bayonne football. They tried the onside kick, and it's picked up by Carl Ingraham, who's really had an amazing second half. When you consider we didn't really see him in the first half. He scores on the touchdown, and he almost had another one, but that one was called back. He's the one who scoops up the onside kick attempt for Bayonne.
I'm sure Carl will never forget that run for the touchdown as long as he lives. Too bad it was called back from him.
So we look for a whole host of substitutions on Bayonne's part. They'll try to get just about everybody into the game. Some of the guys who don't get to see that much action as the clock continues to run. Under 1:10 to go.
The Tooch is still in our quarterback, and we must compliment Bobby on the second half he's had. He's just been tremendous.
1 minute to go right now.
1 minute left in the game.
Matuch keeps. That's a little bit of a surprise. Quarterback keep.
Not really. Ahern is just going to kill that clock. It's going to. I'm sure Moore is not going to call any timeouts with the game situation as it is. I think the game is, for all intents and purposes, is over right now. As you look at the scoreboard, clicking down 42, 41, 40 seconds left. There's the Marist players. Nothing to be ashamed of, guys. You had a whale of a year.
38 seconds is our time. The referee now starts it again. He wanted to spot that football exactly in the right position as the clock continues to roll. This could be the last play of the game.
I'm feeling it will be.
And the new quarterback is number 11. That's Ken Curtis. He hands off right up the middle to his fullback just into the game. That's 34. That's Darrell Rowan. And that very well could have been the last play of the football game, as Bayonne is going to win this one 28-10.
It's all over now. There's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Curtis is trying to get the play off. He won't.
And that's our football game. The final score, Bayonne High School 28, Marist High School 10. And what actually happens is this. Marist played themselves a poor first half in terms of mistakes. The second half, Bayonne just really stuck it to them, and that's our final 28-10. Gentlemen, your closing thoughts.
Wayne?
Yeah, I have one basic feeling about it. It was a great game for Bayonne. I think they played up to the potential that they had all year. They did have the tougher schedule. I think we have to look at that, and I think it was evident in this particular game. One other thing, Vinnie Munn did have over 100 yards rushing. He had unofficially about 110 yards. Played a great game for Marist. Bayonne did what they had to do to beat Bayonne, to beat Marist. They used a balanced offense. They used a lot of players, and I think when it came down to it, in the final analysis, although Bayonne scored on the big plays, it was just a question of them wearing Marist down. The linemen played a super game. Coach Ahern had to shuffle a lot of players because of injuries and things happening out there, and everybody played up to their potential. And Marist just basically had trouble staying with them, I think, in the fourth quarter. And Bayonne controlled the ball, controlled the tempo of the game, and Marist had to come back throughout the entire second half.
Those mistakes really hurt them. You can't make that many mistakes in high school football and expect to recover, as we look at part of the crowd. On the field right now, both teams, the hitting was hard, the game was very intense. They're shaking hands, they've all been friends, the game is over. Bayonne has won it. Nobody's going to be hurt for the better or for the worse. Now, the Marist Football Parents Association has announced the winners of their trophies. The outstanding lineman, and justifiably so, Tony Trainer, very good. The the outstanding back, John Crowley, who missed last year's game with an injury, and the most valuable player, and justifiably so, even though he didn't look too well, and to start out with the negative yardage, Vinnie Munn. I think Vinnie Munn, in my opinion, showed the most courage on that field. He was intense the whole game through. As we look at number 11, Mr. Baker. Jack, as we begin to wrap this up, as we look at both players, let's give Wayne a chance to get his statistics ready on everything. What do you think about your first Bayonne Marist football game?
Well, it was a very interesting affair. I knew that Marist had done a really good job this season. They did make the playoffs. They did have a rough game against Bergen Catholic, dropping that 34-8 game. Bayonne, on the other hand, a team that comes in and gives a strong effort year after year, and this year they faltered, and so that's why they wind up with the 4-4 record, and then win this game to go 5-4.
We're watching the Marist Football Parents Association give the trophies on the field, and they're close up there, and I really can't fault any player. As far as I was concerned, there was no real outstanding player. I think both teams have nothing to be ashamed of in this game. They both should be proud for the fine years they had. Bayonne was a little more inexperienced. Marist went up to the finals. What else can we say?
All right, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you a lot. It's been really great working with you, both Wayne and Mike. And do we have time for statistics? We do. We have time to get those final stats in before we go, Wayne.
Before we leave, there's Mr. Fulton collecting the trophy for the outstanding defensive player. And here's Ed Quinones going to be coming into your picture shortly, taking the trophy for most valuable player. There he is right now. Two handsome, young-looking kids. Wayne, you want to wrap this up for us a little bit?
Okay, in the final statistics, Vinnie Munn finished up with 111 yards. He had 20 carries. And Marist actually ran the ball pretty well as a team. They had 193 yards rushing, and they had 41 carries. They did control the ball. They did what they had to do offensively. But then again, Bayonne had the big plays. They had 145 yards rushing. They had 33 carries. So actually in the game, Marist outrushed Bayonne, 193 to 145. But when you look at it in terms of the passing yardage, Bayonne got the big plays when it counted. They got the big pass completion, a 78-yarder. And even the passing yardage that Marist did have, which I believe is 44 yards passing for Valenti. He was 8 for 12 in passing. Had a great game passing, too. But it just wasn't enough because Bayonne did the right things at the right time, and it was as simple as that. Also in the game, when you look at the first downs, in the second half, the first downs were relatively close, 8-6. So the first half tempo, which of course was in Marist's favor, switched somewhat to Bayonne in the second half. Bayonne did what it had to do. One other thing you might want to keep in mind is that Marist came into the game off a loss to Bergen Catholic. But what had happened actually was Bayonne, in 4 prior meetings to Bergen Catholic, was shut out 3 times. So that state tournament loss was no indication. Marist was ready for this game.
All right, thank you very much, Wayne Wachowski and Mike Bledell. It's been a real pleasure working with you. And that'll about do it. Our final score once again, Bayonne beats Marist 28-10. For Cablevision of Bayonne, this is Jack O'Leary wishing you all a happy Thanksgiving. And I'd just like to thank everyone once again. Our final once again, Bayonne beats Marist 28-10. Good day, everybody.